right, guys. Welcome to the Git Bit Podcast, podcast for blurs, for nerds, for everybody that has a fandom. You are always welcome here. I'm your host and most, Will Buchanan. Of course, we do have some guests today, so I will definitely start with the man to my left, your right, depending on how you got your monitor flipped. I was actually on his show called The Blurred's Eye View. Person who, another kindred spirit I have found here that I got turned on to by the guys at Geeks Out. So shout out to Ari Geek for that. But I do want to introduce Chris Fury to the Git Bit Podcast. Welcome, sir. How are you this evening?
How's it going, everybody out there? Thanks for having me on, Will.
All right. And, of course, the man to my bottom or top, depending on how you got your monitor flipped, needs no introduction because he always has something different every week. So I'm going to let him introduce himself.
My name's Joe Tell, and I'm able to let the Queen of the Amazons know that's damn good chicken.
Well done. I knew the chicken was coming. I knew the chicken was coming. That being said, we do want to let you guys know we are a family-friendly podcast, as we try to be. But hey, words do fly. We're grown adults. You just have to get used to it. Also, at the same time, there will be things that we do show, sometimes trailers, sometimes bits of movies that might be too intense for younger viewers. So then viewer discretion is advised above all else. Aside from that, welcome. So, real quick, bits before we get into the heart of the matter. If you're wondering why all my TVs are turned off, that's because, well, Xfinity hates me, or I should say loves me, because I kill my bandwidth trying to download games, specifically new games that have came out recently. First and foremost, Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins. Looking forward to playing that. Two other games that are currently downloading on my systems that I wanted to go over very quickly. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. If you guys don't remember, it's one of the Borderland knockoff. It's one of the Borderland games that is a spin-off from Borderlands, in which it's kind of a Dungeon Masters meets shooter type of game. It is available now. It is currently downloading on my PlayStation 4 as we speak, so I cannot wait to get into that. Also, another game that did also came out as well for the Nintendo Switch, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, also came out today. So if you are a Kirby fan, like myself, it is long overdue for us to have a Kirby game. At the same time, I am curious to see how it's going to play on the Switch. Me and Joe kind of talked about this during the last Nintendo Direct channel that came out not too long ago, how it would play and the format, things of that nature. So again,
you all would need Jesus after Kirby because of Kirby's mouthful mode.
That also too. But with that being said, these are games that have just recently been released. Like I said before, you can find them on various platforms. If you want down directly, of course, you can go to the PlayStation Store or Nintendo Switch Direct. And, of course, at any retailer that sells video games. I will actually have impressions upon these next week. Well, not next week, because next week's actually going to be something very special, but we're going to talk about that later. But that's what we have so far as new releases go.
No, we got some more.
Oh, you got some more releases? Oh, go for it.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually got to try Relayer, that game I kept going on about.
Oh, they finally released it after that little fiasco across the season we can't talk about?
Yeah. So they released it. They released the demo. I got to try the demo. I got to wait till next week to buy the full version. But this is Sailor Moon, if Sailor Moon was a Gundam pilot.
And I'm already on board.
It is a half visual novel, half strategic RPG where everybody is suspiciously named after the planet they have the will of. You take the role of the girl that has the will of the Earth, Terra. And they really say Star Child a lot, but if you sub in the word new type for Star Child, everyone's a new type. And their main battleship suspiciously looks like the Argram of Zeta Gundam.
And yet Bandai Namco didn't slam them with the lawsuit.
I mean, it's one of those. It's just different enough.
Just enough to where the lawyers can't get involved.
Yeah, exactly. Battle animations are really cool, fully voice acted. Some of these girls sound a lot older than they look. Some of these sound a lot younger than they look in the American dub. But it is good voice work. Okay. I spent almost an hour in cutscenes because this is part visual novel. To do 3 fights in a 2-hour demo.
So wait, is it 90%? Is it 90% cutscenes, 10% fighting?
I think it was just a very long opening because not every girl is a Gundam fighter. So, like, you get ye old Japanese man in the crew pit, who's your maintenance dude, and his granddaughter is Venus, who is a star child, new type, with machines. So that means she can repair anything, basically.
Okay.
But like I said, Gundam units everywhere. Already there are things going on I do not understand, and phrases being dropped, and possibly the third impact, meaning Shinji got into a robot at some point.
Oh, Joe, I like you.
Huh?
I like you already.
Alrighty, we're good. No, I can't wait to start streaming this. I will probably make this a YouTube exclusive for streaming because you're just gonna hear me lean in and say every time they say Star Trek, like name me new type.
Just enough to avoid the lawyers. Just enough to
Oh man,
it really is just enough to avoid the lawyers.
just generally how it works.
Oh,
like, I'm the Star Child of the Earth. You're a new type, and you came from side 3. I understand this.
Oh man.
No, I've been doing that. I actually did get a Souls game finally.
Elden
It
Ring?
is not Elden Ring. I do not like. No, I got Sekiro.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you get.
Apparently, I'm actually very adept at those games.
How about did you remember where your save was?
No, I started fresh and made it all the way to the bull on 2 deaths.
Nice. It took me 6, but I'm not complaining. I died so many times. Sekiro wasn't even funny.
And then, of course, we will talk about comics later. That was like $150 at Rick's, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, like how you said he started it out high and then kind of dropped off a little, you know.
When you read, don't feel bad. If I told you how much I spent on games the last hour, you would have been like, you know what, this is not so bad.
No, it's not. It's not.
Like 150, I should have stopped at 150. But I'm telling
if you gotta feel comfortable about. I'm like, I'm doing this for the guys. I'm doing this for the guys, and I'm doing it for me, and that's it. And then
I can say that. I can say that.
You can come up with. Yeah, you can come up with the excuses for the significant other later.
Are we going with more announcements, or can we go right into Halo so I can make everybody cry?
There is one. Before you get to Halo, we do have to show one trailer because I thank Joe for this because he spotted it first. That there is going to be a new Ghostbusters game coming out, and this is actually the trailer for it, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, we saved the world a few times, but between that, we provided a needed service to the masses. That's where you come in. We're passing the torch, or better yet, passing the particle thrower, giving you the tools. Now let's see if you have the talent. Keep your head up and your equipment charged. We're a team working together to watch each other's back.
Now, I know you're still a ghost-busting trainee, but there's much more here that meets the eye. Take a look at this. You have the chance to see firsthand what exists on the other side. Catching ghosts is only the half of it.
So you want to play as a ghost? I'd like to see you try to take on my team.
And already that's going to look awesome. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. I was looking for a release date. Joe, did you see a release date on this? Because I didn't see anything outside of 2022. So it was supposed. You're muted, Joe.
I believe it's supposed to be fall.
Okay, so it's gonna probably be closer to a Halloween. Probably closer to Halloween if I take a wild guess at it. But
I
overall,
am
just really quick impressions around the table. Chris, since you're the new person today. I'll let you go first. What did you think of the
It
trailer?
looks like it's fun, and I like the idea of having to play a ghost. It just looks fun, and the fact that you're not cornered into playing the 4 original, which is fine, but hearing Ernie Hudson and Dan Aykroyd's voice as well, because Dan Aykroyd pretty much, if it has Ghostbusters on it, he's behind it. You know, he kind of runs that show. So I like it. It looks good. It looks really good.
Joe, what do you think?
Well, we knew that this is a possible continuation from Ghostbusters Afterlife with Ernie Hudson running the firehouse now after seeing the end credits of Afterlife. I'm a little torn because this is going to be playing like a Predator or a Jason game where one person's the enemy and 4 people are the good guys. I will play it with the Ghostbusters when it comes out. The Tennessee Ghostbusters that I'm a part of, but that is just not my thing. I was kind of hoping this be like a horde mode scenario or kind of like Alien Fire Team, where you drop in with like 4 Ghostbusters and just like go through like a whole apartment complex, fighting and trapping waves of ghosts. Not constant PvP.
I can see that. I loved it. I do like the fact that, the whole side of it all is you're definitely gonna have a lot of people that want to play Slimer. Let's be honest. I want to play Slimer if Slimer was available. I know I'd play Slimer. But I do agree with Joe. It does look like it's that, that 4 versus 1 type feel, which again, it does work for the Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th games. I still think there is room to have an Aliens Fire Team before they bugged it to death, because at first it was really good and then now it's good and terrible. But yeah, pretty much. But I still think it's possible for Ghostbusters. I still think it's possible to have a Ghostbusters game like that. I think they want to test the waters. But shout out to Winston. He finally got his come up, and it had to be on a video game because I'm not mad about that at all.
He pulled out of Monster Palooza, and I wonder if it's to start recording on this.
Possibly. Was the timing different? Was the time between this one and the release kind of close?
I mean, it was like whenever Cars and Coffee were like 3 weeks ago. It's when he announced he had to pull out of it for unknown reasons. So I'm wondering if it was like to hit the recording booth and cut this promo trailer.
Probably voice recording. You're probably right. But I know Joe wants to get to it, so we're going to go ahead and go into the television episodes, reviews, a part of the show. And we are going to start with Halo, because if you've been under a rock, yes, Halo did start streaming as of Wednesday. I think 24th. Yeah, Wednesday. Sorry. Wednesday. So it did stream as far as Wednesday goes, and of course, I'm gonna let Joe go first, because I know in the Facebook group that me, Joe, and a few others have, he already had some opinions about this. So I will go ahead and let him go first. So Joe, I'm gonna go ahead and play the trailer for it, but I'm gonna mute it. But while it's playing, sir, go ahead and give your impressions of the first episode.
Let the trailer run first. Go ahead and let the trailer run first with sound. That's fine.
All right, I'll let it go, because I was like because you said you had some good and bad points. I was I gotta hear this. I gotta hear this. But first off, here's actually the trailer for Halo.
You. Humanity's best weapon. Master Chief, huh?
The Master Chief was enhanced and trained for one purpose: to win this war. He and the other Spartans are our only effective weapons against the Covenant. He is lethal, upgradable, and most importantly, controllable.
Covenant forces appear to be excavating some kind of object. When I touched the object, I felt something. I felt different.
What they did to us makes you numb.
And you just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
What does one do with a superhuman if you're not sure you can trust?
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Master Chief recovered something.
Sacred ring.
Halo.
Humans surrendered to the Covenant.
Cortana, I'm gonna need you now. Find the Halo. Win the war.
I'm always mad how they always get good covers of better songs and just make them awesome for trailers.
It's the same as it's the same as 80s cartoons. They like the 80s cartoons intros.
Yeah.
Amazing. Actual animation, not so much.
I mean, this is anything with the Batman with Nirvana something in the way. I'm like, it was perfect for Batman, and now you're taking Phil Collins in the air tonight, and it's like, you know what? I'm not mad about the musical score on that. But anyway, we are going to go into this. We are going to talk about the first episode of Halo, spoiler filled. So if you have not seen it or you don't want to know about it for the next 5 minutes, you might want to mute us. Joe, I'll let you go first, sir, because you said you had good and bad points about it. So what did you think of the first episode?
All right, so it was about a half and half for me. I really enjoyed it, and then they did some really stupid crap. And then I'm like, oh, God, is this where we're going? And apparently it is. So the opening thing, love the fact that they got the Covenant right. Love the fact that they kept with the brutality. Spartans look fantastic. I don't mind that we're playing 4D chess between the Spartans, the Doctor with the Spartans, against the UMC, against Rebels, against the Covenant. All fine. Really enjoyed that. And then the moment he took his helmet off in the first episode, everything went downhill. Not only does he take his helmet off in the first episode, because this man is like Dredd, Judge Dredd in the video games. He takes his helmet off, that it cuts to black, or there is a light showing him out. But no, in this show, they takes his helmet off, and I swear to God, he is the default characters in your character selection screen. They got the most generic looking army dude I've ever seen. He literally looks like Commander Shepard if you just on top of that, I'm upset that he's not black, because John, in every other thing, to my knowledge, he said he's been black, which that's fine. I mean, whatever. And on top of that, he has a plucky teenage sidekick in the middle of a giant intergalactic war.
I'll need some more on that one. No, go ahead, Joe. I'm just dying.
I was really hyped that they were going to have his former Spartan unit go up against him. I thought that'd be cool going on and saying, nope, flips immediately as soon as the Doctor goes like, we're all going to be cool with John. Everybody got this? Like, cool. So we're going to fight the entire army that's literally behind us. No questions asked. It's like, okay, sure. Are we going to just but yeah. The moment he took his helmet off and he just became default select white army guy, that's when the show fell apart for me.
I'm mad that you call him default Commander Shepard. That's the line that got me. You call him default Commander Shepard.
You look at that man. Tell me he's not default Commander Shepard.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I wasn't ready for that.
The guy who's playing him.
And this is no
disrespect. It took me a minute.
He did a good job with what he was given, but Master Chief is like Judge Dredd. If he takes his helmet off, you obscure his face, or you cut, or that's the end of the game of the credits roll. We do not see his face. And I would have been fine if we saw his face at the final, in the finale of the show.
Okay.
Do a Power Rangers thing where like the face visor is shattered or something. You can see in there. I don't even care that he's not black, even though he should be. It's just that they went with the most generic looking army dude they could possibly have gotten.
Oh man, Chris,
Okay, I'm
what?
good.
So I
I'm
didn't get an opportunity. I didn't, and don't feel bad, Joe, because I didn't get an opportunity to watch this, but I know a lot of people who've told me about it. So I was already gearing myself up to say, okay, I can be 50-50 on this thing. But the guy who's playing Master Chief, I knew I had seen him before, and it took me a spell. But he plays he played Mad Sweeney on
American Gods.
American Gods.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, okay, because it's the lack of red hair that's throwing me off. So, visually it looks good, and I'll be honest with you, I think we're in the stage now where we have our superhero films, and they're becoming more and more cinematic, being well shot, and now they're trying, after the success of Sonic. And listening to the fans, one of the few times bullying actually worked, and and they're saying, okay, we may be able to tell a good story. We finally have the technology to make the stuff work. We just have to make it look well. I'm happy that they didn't go verbatim with the game storyline, because that's a very fine line to walk with any franchise. It's very it's hard. It's hard to do. Let's face it. If they did it with the Marvel, if they did it with the MCU, we would have got the episode where Vision and Wanda was trick-or-treating. We would have gotten those costumes. So we know that.
But it worked for Elizabeth Olsen.
Exactly. Well, yes. So I'm glad that there's somebody in the art directory or in somewhere in the director's chair that's saying we may not want to go for that. The suit looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
It does. It looks amazing. I like the fact that they're finally getting CGI and makeup, and this stuff is to par now, where they can say we might be able to do this. Give us a fresh new storyline. It works. It's not hard to really come up with a really good outer space Odyssey type storyline. It's not really hard. Especially if you have a war involved, it's really not hard.
Pretty much. We've seen that, so you're not wrong. I would say I didn't find anything wrong with it. Now that Joe's got me thinking, every time I'll be watching Master Chief, it's like Mass Effect's gonna be in my head. So thanks, Joe, for that. But
I approve this message on the Citadel.
But no, I mean, overall, I can see Joe's point. It does kind of take away the mysticism of it all, because let's be honest, from Halo's 1 up until Infinite, I mean, Master Chief is only taking off his helmet, and like Joe said, if he did, the screen would fade off, it would go to black, you'd never see his face. So the mysticism of it all did kind of go away a little bit, but I actually like that because they're trying to go for the human aspect. They tried to do the same thing in Halo 3 with the flashbacks, of course, with his childhood during his gameplay. So I think the director wanted to sit there and kind of add that human element to it, but also take a little bit of the story from Halo 5 Guardians and try to include Halsey, as far as Halsey, and of course Cortana going nuts and weapon being created, and then you still had the upgraded Spartans come in actually hunting Master Chief. So there are some elements in the story that does make sense. But I like the fact that it actually is different. This is, I mean, from what I can tell from what I've researched about it, this is pre-Halo. So this is not having, none of the rings have been found. It's weird that we kind of see the Arbiter armor a little bit, like the armor at the beginning of the scene that you see the one Covenant guy wear is straight Arbiter, which again, they don't say he's the Arbiter, but anything with purple armor is going to stand out with the Covenant. Yeah. The fact that you still see the High Charity and you see them, so you actually see them with a humanoid or possibly a human child that they actually have. So, and then at the same time, they're introducing Dr. Halsey early versus later on. So I like the direction it's going into. I still think that first episodes are supposed to be a setup. We're supposed to see exactly where it's going and things of that nature. And I think they're trying to go to the existence of the Halo rings versus already knowing what they are in their war with the Covenant. Because as you could tell, the war with the Covenant didn't even start yet, because the moment they see them dropping, it's like, they're not, wait a minute, these guys aren't UNC. So it's like, already does set up a nice precedent for it. But no, overall, I did like it. I have to somehow get past default Commander Shepard playing as Master Chief now.
One counter argument to him being more human now that he has his mask off.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to my Judge Dredd analogy. Mm-hmm. Which was more human? Sylvester Stallone's Dredd or Carl Urban's Dredd?
I love Carl Urban's
Dredd. Carl Urban won that by landslide.
Mm-hmm. And what did Carl Urban not do throughout that whole movie?
He didn't take his
helmet off. Mask off.
He didn't take it off. You're right. He didn't take it off. But I think I'm gonna be honest with you though. I think
Carl Urban is the Phil Coulson of geek world right now.
Yeah,
this is true.
but also at the same time though, Carl Urban. No disrespect to Sylvester Stallone. In the many movies, he has made us happy throughout his entire film career. Judge Dredd will always hold a special place in my heart, just because at the time, very few comic book movies were being done pre-Marvel. And aside from Punisher and a very, very obscure G.I. Joe movie that was not even called G.I. Joe, but had all the remnants of G.I. Joe that was put out there, Judge Dredd was actually the third comic book movie that was ever attempted, but never said it was a comic book movie. That's how good the advertising was back in the early 90s, that they didn't even mention that part. But no, Carl Urban actually did a lot better job with Dredd. And I see where Joe's going with this, that yes, he was human without taking the helmet off. And of course, with Stallone, he's kind of that, everything has to come off in the fight. When's the last time you seen something stay on his head in any action movie? Except the Expendables, because that hat never came off.
Yeah, that beret never left his head at all. Gun belt came off. Everything else came off, but the beret stayed right on his head.
Always stayed on. What are you gonna say, Joe?
The other issue I have is now he has a teenage sidekick, which I understand she has her own B plot. Mm-hmm. But now you have Master Chief with the teenage sidekick.
So it's basically what was that one movie? Crap. So basically, he's Jason Statham.
Which one do you want? Mr. Nanny, Suburban Commando?
No.
Every Disney movie that they put action stars through, Vin Diesel did it, The Rock did it, John Cena's done it. Which one do we want to go with here?
I was going to go with Jason Statham and Save, because that's what it reminded me of.
I will go only so far.
Stone Cold hasn't done it.
He's going to Mania. It's called the Kevin Owens match. I was willing to go as far back as Surf Ninjas or Three Ninjas.
Oh, jeez. Ooh. Not Surf Ninjas. Brothers don't surf.
We just ran with it, man. They made like what, 4 of them?
We were starved for those movies, because let's be honest,
we were.
How many? Let's be honest. On a Friday night when you got Pizza Hut and you just came from Blockbuster Video, it's like that was the highlight of a Friday night. Let's just be honest.
You were watching.
You talking about the highlight of my Friday night was watching the Night of the Sentinels videotape I got from my Pizza Hut. I still got that. I can dig it out.
You still have it?
Hold on.
I'm about to say, if you still have it, you better get that thing appraised.
Oh my God.
If you still have it, you might as well get that thing appraised, because I remember those days. What was it? What was the 2 places? I know Blockbuster was a big one, but there was another one.
It was Blockbuster, and what was the other one?
There was Family. You had your knockoff
Family Video. Family Video. That was the other one. Family Video.
Yeah. Because I remember those days when you got a nice little meat lovers or extra cheese pizza from Pizza Hut, because Papa John's wasn't really in existence, and Domino's didn't jump off till Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's why I think, you know what? Domino's will be forever grateful for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because if
it wasn't for TMNT, they would not be in business right now.
All right,
It wasn't the Noid, it was the Turtles.
I didn't find it, but I did find this Gold Glory.
Oh dear
God.
God.
Oh, and the first episode of Dragon Ball on VHS.
Oh man. I was gonna say, Joe, if you dig out the X-Men video that you got from Pizza Hut, you better get that thing appraised and quick, because
isn't that the one? No, that was the Pride of the X-Men I'm thinking of, when Wolverine actually had an Australian accent. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
No. This was like the VHS that was pre-released for the 90s cartoon that Stan Lee did the opening for.
Yeah.
That one.
The one that that's why I said you need it. I said if I were you, I'd get that appraised, because that video is rare in existence. To think that you have one of the, I mean, God rest his soul, but at the same time, you have one of the last standing mementos of Stan Lee intro into the X-Men. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that. That's gotta have a price tag on it. That's all.
Especially the way people find things now, and we're just looking like, you didn't know that existed.
I had to explain. My college dissertation was on the fact that I said Domino's should be forever grateful to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I literally had graphs of when the first movie came out, the second movie came out, and the third movie came out. And because I was doing statistics, I showed pizza sales in the U.S. after every movie and how it increased. And I said, if anybody should be thankful for the 80s to the 90s, it's them. They should be thankful.
The theater that we used to go to when that first movie came out, part of their promotion, they gave out free pizza.
Yeah.
It was slivers, but they gave out free pizza for that movie. And we cleaned house that day. Like,
that's what I'm just saying. It's like, the more I thought about it, I said, you know what? As a kid, that just goes to show you how good marketing is, because, I mean, if you really think about it, after that movie came out, did you not want to eat pizza all the time? Because you saw four guys.
I ate pizza so freaking much.
Yes.
From the age of 13 to 18. I ate so much freaking pizza that, like, now I see Domino's, I'm like, ew.
I was worse. Remember Super Mario Bros. Super Show, when they showed them eating nothing but pasta?
Oh my god! Yeah, they made spaghetti and meatballs look so good.
Yes, and that's what made me mad. I don't know who they ordered from, but anytime they had spaghetti, it was the best looking spaghetti this side of an Olive Garden commercial. That's what I was mad about. And then, you go back to your parents, your mom makes spaghetti, and you're just looking at her spaghetti, and then you're reminding yourself,
where's the meatballs?
Nothing. I almost want to say, like, this, you ain't gonna say it out loud because you just want to keep it on your teeth. But you said to yourself, like, this is nothing compared to what I was seeing on Super Mario Brothers. That just made me think. I said, boy, our advertising, especially as Joe is still trying to find the tape. But
I'm trying to put everything back now.
Okay, but
you know the first videotape of Pokemon.
Yeah, he needs to get those looked at.
He needs to get those appraised.
Yeah,
knowing Joe, he's probably got a trunk of stuff that's he's probably sitting on close to about $750,000 on stuff that I guarantee he takes it to one antique place I'll never hear from again. He will be on continual.
He's gonna be on a beach on Bora Bora. Like, oh, hey, Will.
It's like, what did you do?
Took that Pokemon tape in and got like $5 million for it.
Right. I can't say anything because, I mean, that's what I say about combos. I remember I was coming across one. I think this is the first issue of Superman when he was in Action Comics went for like $800,000. And I'm like,
I think it got at what point it got up to $1 million.
Yeah.
It might be the two copies that Nicolas Cage owns.
I wouldn't bet. Well, knowing him, I'm not surprised because he's in between him. Like, I did not know between him, Samuel L. Jackson, and another person that they have vaults dedicated to just comics. And I'm like, but y'all got money. It's like, of course, y'all can have these humongous.
They said it they said, what was it, Golden Apple Comics in San Francisco? I don't know if they're still open, but they said it was nothing to see Sam Jackson walk in there and
just have fun with it. But now I'm gonna have to go back and I was like, I wonder what did Three Ninjas make us go get besides karate lessons? Because I remember a place here in Tennessee
that was it.
David Eaton Karate Studios here in Tennessee. They had so many advertisements after Three Ninjas came out, and I'm like, I'm not knocking anybody that studies martial arts, but you don't want to go to a spot where all you're going to teach you is the one step and punch, because that's not really going to help you in a fight. Just pointing that out there.
For us here in Ohio, it was Three Ninjas, and then after it, because Showtime would show it all the time.
Yeah,
like, if they showed one, they were showing all of them.
Right.
And then after that, you had the USA Network, and they were good for Kung Fu Saturday. So it was like, if you didn't feel like watching Surf Ninjas, you can watch Kung Fu Theater on USA Network.
Is this before or after the Darkstalkers and Street Fighter, the animated series on Cartoon Network?
This is before, yeah.
Before.
Okay, so Turbo Teen times. Yes.
Yes, Turbo Teen, exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Someone else
America's take on Ranma. If I get hot water, I turn into a boy. If I get cold water, I turn into a girl.
Kids, listen up, kids. Listen up, kids. If you want to know who Turbo Teen is, go to YouTube, look up Turbo Teen. You will sit there. He was being chased by Bigfoot, the monster truck.
Yes.
No, that's a whole different thing. That's WMAC Masters is what happens to all the Mortal Kombat people.
Exactly.
You're wrong though, but
you're talking about Power Play, where it was all the activists.
Yes.
Oh Lord.
We were man. They fed us everything in the 80s.
It was as I explained to somebody else. The funny thing is, I explained it to a bunch of kids when I showed them the first Mortal Kombat. They're like, "This is so slow." I said, "This is all that we had." Okay.
I showed my son years ago. Because he's grown now. I showed him years ago the Lost Boys. At which point he was just like, and then he seen Twilight with his wife, and he was like, "Dad, I'm sorry." I'm like, exactly. We had cool vampires.
No, the core thing is like, now I understand why they hung on that one vampire playing the saxophone for so long.
Does that live rent free in your head now? Just
I'd explain it to a bunch of kids. They kept on seeing that on a meme. I'm like, it's a movie. It's like, just go to your parents, ask them about Lost Boys. And they were like, oh, so it's like Twilight? No. It is nowhere near Twilight.
It's even better when you find out about Granddad. It was just like, well, how much of a badass was he?
Although, with that being said, Robert Pattinson, I will keep apologizing. You did do great in Batman, so this is my public apology. I will probably be doing this again next week, so I just want to get that out of the way. Okay. This got completely sidetracked, but it's all right. So overall, Halo, we are definitely going to be covering that. Moving on to the other CW shows that came out. Naomi, how can I explain Naomi? I'm hopeful. It'll get better because it is.
It's just.
Look,
I really try. I really try.
Me and you both.
I know better.
Well, Joe, we know why. We know why in your case, Joe. I mean, it's just okay. Look, I get it. I'm all for, and I said this before, I wanted DC to cover more heroes. I really did. So Naomi is a step different. I was kind of hoping for Booster Gold, Blue Beetle, Green Lantern. I mean, there's so many options you can go with.
Booster showing up on DC Legends, so
yeah, that's
exactly. And the only reason why I let him get away with it is because it's DC Legends. What do you expect?
Oh, you know it's bad when their showrunner for Legend of Tomorrow's is like, well, we're getting canceled. Let's have fun with it. Just throw it out there for the world to see. That's really all it was for. And don't get me wrong, I was kind of expecting him in his traditional suit, but to see him in the way they did it, I'm like, y'all guys just don't care anymore.
Right.
It's like the showrunner just sat there and just said, "Okay, I'm out. I'm good." But Naomi's starting to go that route. I mean, it's starting to become. It's like if Nancy Drew had powers. That's how bad it is to me. It's like if Nancy Drew had powers. And I'm sorry, I understand CW is all about teen drama and all this stuff. But as we were talking about this before, and I kind of wish I started recording as we were talking about this because it was great stuff from both of you guys. That, you know, going over into Superman and Lois, yes, Superman and Lois has teen drama, but the stories and the plots and the subplots, they all twine together. It all flows. Exactly. It's not like, you know, Naomi's in this weird triangle as she's trying to figure out her powers and still mad at her parents, but forgave her parents, but still mad at her parents. And then
they don't know. There's this thing about, oh, Superman's not real. I'm like, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Which world are you already in?
It's just
that completely threw me. I'm just
It just to me, it just didn't. I'm like, every time I watch it, like I said, I did the same thing about. I mean, Joe can tell you, I did the same thing about Batwoman. I wrote it out. There were some times where Batwoman in the previous season had great episodes, and then somehow still disappointed you at the end. It still did, especially with how they tried to say the Joker aspect of it all, but really he's not Joker. And then still keeping Alice around for reasons beyond my comprehension, and then. I'm not saying forced. Yeah, it was good and terrible. And then they forced the whole relationship angle between Ryan and the other girl. I'm like, it doesn't flow. It doesn't. And I'm a big person on storylines. It's like if it has a great story, whether it's books, comics, mangas, video games, if it's a great story, you'll have my attention. But when it's a terrible story, it's kind of hard to keep yourself engaged. But But I mean, so Chris, I know. Have you tried to watch? I know you like me. Did you try to watch Naomi? And it just
we were saying before the show. It's episode 5. I'm still on episode 3 or 4, and it's hard when you don't grab the audience within the first or second episode of a new show. It's hard to grab them. Period, because it's like. Right. You're moving it the pace is too slow. We get it. She's a teenager. We get it. It's teenage drama, but there should be reveals like popping right away. And that keeps them engaged. I can't get it. I'm trying, but it's just like, okay. Nothing.
It's almost
nothing happened. Is that what you're saying? Nothing happened this episode?
It's like I even said it best. I was telling Joe about this last week. I said the best episode Naomi so far has been where it didn't focus on her. It's like Naomi's best episode so far has been the Zubuda's backstory, where it showed him about being on a different Earth and showing how he came to be, how he came to get his powers. It is amazing to me that when you focus on another aspect of another character, how the episode gets exponentially better. Yeah. Even for one episode, it got better. And I was like, that goes to show you
want to know more about what's going on over here. Because you're not really doing anything with the main story. So
you think he was the bad guy, and then he turns around and is like, oh yeah, I'm the snake of this whole thing. You thought I was bad, but really I was protecting you. I was protecting you because I was asked to. So it's like, he's basically severing a snake out of all this. Okay. Yeah.
I have to be the butthole of the whole story. Whatever. I'll bite the bullet.
But Naomi, I will still watch it just for see if it does get better. However, DC at this point, because of course, news came out that the Flash and Superman and Lois so far are the only 2 shows in the CW that have been renewed. There has been no news on Batwoman. There's been no news on Legend of Tomorrow. There has been no news on Stargirl. I'm thinking Stargirl because
Stargirl will probably get a season. Was it season?
Stargirl
they'll more likely get a season 3.
Yeah, they'll get their
they'll get a season.
because I was one of those that didn't like Stargirl at first. It actually took Joe to convince me to keep watching. And
yeah, it's actually good. It's
yeah,
perfect example. Perfect example. Teenage drama, superheroics, pretty decent balance.
yeah.
And that's what Naomi is missing.
Yeah,
It's missing that connection. Like you got so much going on, but there's no real.
It just gets you lost.
Grab them, yeah.
Oh, but then again, Stargirl did really get dark their second season. I was like, y'all had Stargirl had a body count on the second season. Like, okay.
Didn't they? I'm like, did they do it? No, that first season when they killed the magician's kid.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, oh, they're doing that.
I was actually impressed.
Good. This might just be a little better than I thought.
Oh, it took me because all Joe told me was, hey, just make it past 4. If you make it past episode 4, it'll get exponentially better. I said, okay, cool. Yeah. So I did actually do that. And yeah, it was great. And that's why I was like, that second season with them fighting Eclipso and, bringing Dr. Midnight from the shadow world. And it's just like,
yeah, it got better. I'm like, they really did it. I'm like, this is what they need. This is the balance you're looking for. It's just right.
Yeah, it's a great story. I can't knock it, but it's one of those things. It's one of those things. Like I said, I get hopeful for Naomi because I want it to do well. But let's be honest, just like the Flash, as we're about to get into momentarily, all good things must come to an end eventually. But before we get into the Flash, also some quick news I forgot about. Also video game related. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League has been delayed. And again, that's not a problem. They just want to make sure to take more time to actually get the game right for less bugs and things of that nature. We've heard these with all games before, especially with Horizon Forbidden West. Horizon Forbidden West was actually pushed back or delayed by 2 months, I want to say. 2 months. And right now, because I know I've played it, I know Joe streams it as Dino Gal and Pals on Total Justice Gaming. And I don't want to spoil it for Joe. Joe, have you beaten Horizon? Have you beaten Forbidden West?
Not yet. I'm getting close. I just did the whole Ted Faro thing.
Okay, so I can't talk about it. But anyway, definitely great. I was about to say because I don't want to spoil it for you. But yeah, for Horizon Forbidden West was definitely great. So, with games that get pushed back, I'm not knocking those. I want you to fix the bugs because we definitely don't need another Cyberpunk 2077 because I was still mad. CD Projekt Red. I still hold a grudge against you guys because how dare you give us The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, in my opinion, one of the greatest RPG games ever made. And then you turn around and give us Cyberpunk 2077 with Keanu Reeves in it, and it's got more bugs than a termite-filled house. Sorry, I sound a little angry, but I am.
It has more bugs than termite-filled house, but it has just the right amount of bugs to be confused with the Bethesda game.
Yeah. It might as well, you know what? It might as well have been a Bethesda game at that rate. That's how buggy it was. It was you know what? It was end of Skyrim buggy. That's how bad it was. Anybody who's ever played the end of Skyrim or tried to get to the end and everything crashes on you, yeah. That was Cyberpunk 2077 the entire time. And I was so mad because I was so invested in the story, and that's exactly what happened, that I just muddled through it till I got to the end. I never played it again. But yes, I am not mad about CD Projekt Red, pushing. I'm sorry, not mad about them pushing back Kill the Justice League. I think that's going to be one of the standout DC games that are coming out along with Gotham Knights, because Gotham Knights, I think, got pushed back, which again, completely fine. I mean, I waited 10 years to play Final Fantasy Remake Part 1. I can wait a few more months to play both DC games and still be happy. Also, some of the Netflix news. If you're like me and you like fighting animes, on Netflix, there's one called Kengan Ashura, which is kind of like Baki, except it's more fighting and less story. So it's just knockout, knuckle drag down fights. Season 1 was on there 2 years ago. They just announced that a season 2 is in the works, so it'll probably be coming out sometime at the end of the year. Chris, have you ever heard of Kengan Ashura or watching the episodes?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched any episodes. I have heard of it though, because I'm lining up my anime. And don't shoot me, people out there. I'm actually on episode, because I'm testing myself. 138 of One Piece.
Oh, you're farther than me.
Yeah, so I made a conscious effort to say I'm going to watch One Piece because my son has watched the entire thing, and I said, now it's my turn. I'm going to go ahead and watch it because it's a challenge. I'm an Aries. It's what we do, and it was like, so I'm challenging myself. I'm like, I'm gonna crush through this, and I did that in less than about a month. Getting through it. So I'm like, okay, I'm fine. And then I left it from Netflix because now I'm going to Hulu and just watching the rest there up until I think it's what episode. I think they have like 700 or something like that on there. So it gives me time.
I'm on episode 1018.
See, they just keep pumping them out.
I think One Piece is gonna be the anime that just doesn't. I don't think it's ever gonna end. But then again, I was like, I kind of don't want it to end because it seems the best arcs right now seem to be up in that 1,000 range. So it's like, dang, and for me, I'm a completionist. I don't want to start watching an anime because someone are like, well, don't watch it from the beginning. Just watch it from this number, and then you can go from there. I can't do that because someone on the lines are going to be like, wait a minute, where did this dude come from? Or how you learn how to do this? It's going to bug me. So Chris, I'm with you on that. I have to watch it from the beginning, and I don't care how long it takes me. Great. I can live with that. Because I'm the same way, especially with the Star Trek series. Like, I'm behind on Discovery and Picard. I hadn't even started season
I've seen 2 episodes of the first season of Picard, and I'm not even a Star Trek fanatic. I think what happens is, and let me reiterate, I am officially a Star Wars fan. Always have been. It was what I was introduced to first as a child. So when my grandmother says, "Oh, Star Wars is on TV," and as a 5-year-old, you're thinking, "It's on television already?" And it turns out it's Star Trek, so it was the turnoff. Yeah. So it was, it was a turnoff for me. But as I've gotten older, I had a better appreciation for not. I didn't watch the original. I was watching ended up watching the Next Generation, which I had very much a deep appreciation for, and I liked it. So watching that and then just like kind of falling back because Star Wars, and you kind of can't walk away from that. You don't walk away from Star Wars, and
our side.
Yeah, I'm more of a gray myself.
Don't feel bad. My son is slowly thinking he's a gray Jedi as much as I try to pull him to the dark side. But no, I mean I get it because for me it's like I just like you. I was on Star Wars. My uncle turned me on to Next Generation, and then I found out about Star Trek as far as the original series. I'm split between DS9 and Next Generation because Commander Sisko to me was always the. Don't get me wrong, I have immense respect for Captain Jean-Luc Picard, but Commander Benjamin's mother Sisko, Sisko, any man that turns around and looks at the Cardassians and with no ship, a station, no shields, no weapons, and says, pull up, makes them blink, to me, you ain't gonna.
It's a move. It's a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe. I'm just like, you have my full respect, my son.
But at the same time, I kind of respect Picard because he had the greatest pull-up line ever, especially because I love that kids are going back to this now, and I'm just like, especially during Worf's challenge to the Klingon Empire, and you just see Galron just approach Jean-Luc Picard. I should gut you where you stand. You may test that assumption at your convenience. Wait. Did he just sit there?
What a British thing to say.
No, the reason why Sisko is the greatest is because Q only bothered him once.
That is true. Yeah. Q only bothered Sisko once. But let's be honest. Picard was Q's favorite.
Because Picard to some degree would indulge Q and let him do it. Sisko's like, I don't have time for this here. I got this going on.
Right. But then again, if you really think about it, Garrick was probably the Q to Sisko. If I had to take a wild guess, he was probably more Q. Yeah.
Well, after he hit him, it was like, Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard. He's like, I have no time for this.
Yeah, you're right though. He did indulge Q, but then again, Q always went to Picard like, you know what, Picard, you fascinate me. You are a fascinating. Hey, what did he say? Shoot, what did he say when that episode where Q lost his powers? He goes, Picard, you are a fascinating humanoid. And he's like, that is the reason. That's the reason why I like being around you so much. You frustrate me, but you also intrigue me. You are an enigma. And Picard looked at him like, the hell you say to me? He then looked at his face, just like, what did you say to me?
Toy? Think I'm a toy? Think I'm a joke to you?
But
I'm not
no,
gonna entertain you. Oh, that's the wrong movie. I'm sorry.
But no, I get it though, because I'm like, for me, it's like you know, like with the new episodes out there, because I know Joe was talking about Lower Decks, which again I have yet to see, but I've been told it's funny. Discovery, because I cannot think of the actress's name to save my life right now. Crap, because she played on The Walking Dead and I can't think of her name. It'll come back to me later.
Sonequa Martin Green.
Thank you. That's her. That's the name.
The lovely Sonequa Martin Green.
Because I love the first season of Discovery, and I'm kind of mad at myself, but I had so many things going on that I've never been able, unless I have to sleep sometime, that I have to go back and watch Discovery. Picard, because again, I love the guest. Not only reason because right now the first season of Picard was so great, but you know, the guest people that are coming back, and I already know that Whoopi Goldberg is coming back and reprising her role as Guinan on one of the episodes. The only one I'm waiting for is two people. I wonder where Worf is, and I wonder where Geordi is, because he's kind of covered almost everybody except them and Dr. Beverly. That's it. Everybody else.
The whole thing with Beverly that I know they probably won't touch. As for Geordi, I believe the good gentleman is too busy fighting against oppression of books.
Yeah, that too. I tell kids about Reading Rainbow. I'm like, Reading Rainbow is a wonderful program, and you should watch it wherever you can, because you know they won't let him be host of Jeopardy. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Yes, that right there.
Why he can't be host of Jeopardy.
You know,
but anyway,
that's all right. It's their loss.
Yeah,
I was gonna say LeVar Burton's fighting another battle at the moment. He'll be around soon. But Beverly, I don't think they'll do it until much later, because season 3, I think, is the final season of Picard.
Yeah, three. He's already said 3 is going to be the final season. But I've got to catch up. Look forward to those.
He's got Marvel movies from here on out.
Say what, Joe?
I said he's got Marvel movies he's got to make from here on out.
Oh yes, since you know he finally admitted that he was the voice on Doctor Strange, on the Doctor Strange trailer. He finally. I'm like, come on,
I'm
man.
like, come on.
He's
Look,
like, yes.
Marvel and Disney do enough to keep things hidden from us. Come on.
I just love the fact
it's you.
I'm like, come on, Picard. When you have voice engineers on YouTube literally going back and saying, this is how we know it's Picard, and they break down the audio from the trailer and mash it to you speaking on different occasions and say, yeah, that's him. When you got that kind of scrutiny on this, just come clean, man.
I'm gonna quote a character from the movie Serenity. You can't fight the signal. We are the internet. You cannot.
Mr.
You
Universe.
cannot. You cannot fight the signal, Mr. Universe. Exactly. You cannot fight the signal. Like the minute it's out there, it's being broken down.
Oh yeah.
It is way too many hackers, and like you said, too many audio engineers, video engineers, people that know Photoshop. They will. We are legion. Right. Do you understand?
But I mean, it does. Again, me and Joe and others, we all have multiple conversations. Like, we know the next phase of the MCU is going to be the mutant phase. I mean, at this point, it's all but certain that you are basically going to sit there and say that the multiverse of madness is going to lead to this. We're going to see the Illuminati. We already know the chairs are there. We already know 2 people have already been really identified as the Illuminati. So we already know it's coming. I mean, and what did you say about Joe? Did you mention something about Tom Cruise, or was that Shadow? I can't remember.
It was either me or him, but Tom Cruise is superior Iron Man in that movie.
Which again, Tom Cruise is denied already.
So,
He's like,
If we got the Avengers and we got the X-Men, that means Phase 6, Onslaught.
Yeah. Onslaught will be coming. Or Omega Red. Or even Mr. Sinister, if you really want to be honest. Because, they're going
to... Mr. Sinister, he needs to be the Mr. Sinister from Hellions, where he's more worried about getting people's DNA and which one of them gets the cape.
That is also true. Or they could pull a 360 and just go ahead and introduce Apocalypse.
Oh,
which
no,
again, I know.
I don't think they'll revisit that one too soon.
Let me refresh this. Comic book accurate Apocalypse. Comic book accurate, not Ivan.
And for the record, Oscar Isaac, that is no rip to you. That was not your fault. You did what you could with that role, and quite well, to be honest with you. It was everything else.
Right. To be fair, in the best term of Letterkenny, to be fair, that was actually not a bad Apocalypse role. We are all tainted from the X-Men animated series with Apocalypse. That's really what it is.
I was going to say Bryan Singer being a director back then.
I will go with that.
And I would say Bryan Singer, but that's just me. You are as far below me,
and I will die on that hill. We'll blame it on Bryan Singer. I'll die on that hill.
Joe, you're right, but for me, it's Bryan Singer. I'm like, how many turns at bat are you gonna get with the X-Men franchise and still miss?
How many turns at the Phoenix Saga are you gonna take?
Oh my God,
that is very, very true. How many turns you can get the Phoenix Saga, you still can't get it right. No, that's very true. But speaking of things they ain't gonna get right though, Tekken Bloodline, which again is another anime shot at Tekken, is gonna be coming on Netflix soon. So I'm kind of interested to say what, Joe?
I'm down.
They have a trailer, but it's kind of I'm kind of determined. I kind of don't know if I should show this one. This is a little bit more graphic than the usual ones we show. So I'm gonna say this: if you want to actually see the trailer for it, not the Red Band trailer, which somehow I was able to find. You can actually go on YouTube and watch it, because I definitely am not going to risk it and try playing it right now. but Tekken is going to come out with that one. From what I saw of it, they are following the Jin Kazama story, in which he is basically finding out his father and his grandfather, and yet the Aztec god is somehow still alive in this. And
what this is Tekken 2.5. This happens in between Tekken 2 and 3.
Oh, so it's before Heihachi basically fights Kazuya again.
No, this is way before even that. Kazuya is currently dead at this point in time.
Right, because of Heihachi throwing him off of the mountain, and supposedly he's dead. Right.
Yeah, no, he is totally dead. This takes place before Ogre comes and starts killing all those fighters, which is why we no longer have June in any future things. This is Tekken 2.5.
Gotcha. Okay, well, they don't have a release date for it yet, but we will definitely follow with that. The other couple of shows that we need to they're going to go into, because again, I love the sidetrack, because this is so much fun as far as talking.
It makes for great stuff.
I love finding fellow Trekkies. I know Joe's Trekkie, I'm a Trekkie, but I always love finding fellow Trekkies in those in Star Wars, because again, really quickly before we get into Superman and Lois, what do you think of Kenobi in the trailer, Chris?
I'm for it. I'm glad Ewan McGregor is back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm for it. However, considering the fact that Obi-Wan spent all his time on that planet, and we got the Alec Guinness version, and then we have it's like,
how you gonna make that work?
I'll let it slide. I'll let it slide. I'll let suspension of belief slide.
It's Jon Favreau and the other guy I can't think of. Joe, you know his
Dave
name.
Filoni.
Dave Filoni. Who's directing it?
Yeah.
Dave Filoni.
The two guys.
That question very easily. How it goes from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness. It's dry.
I thought you were going to say stress, but okay, I'll go with the dry heat. No moisture in your skin and everything. Okay, got it. I'm all right. I can rock with that.
I like to sit there.
I gotta ask, going back to the Tekken Bloodline thing, I think you found a fan-made trailer, because
I found a Red Band, but was it?
No. I think that's a fan-made Red Band, because even Netflix doesn't have a Red Band trailer for it.
Oh God, I'm glad I didn't play it then. Okay, good. I didn't play it then. That's fine. But no, I'm looking forward to it because again, with Kenobi, I think it's gonna have a Fallen Order reference to it because they've already said they're gonna make a sequel to Fallen Order 2, which means that there is a chance that we might see a Cal Kestis in Kenobi, which would be great for me because that would definitely continue that game because I still think that all the EA Star Wars games that came out, they actually got Fallen Order right. So
all you gotta do is make it a Dark Souls game and keep telling him to shut up, Cal Kestis.
Damn.
But I mean, seriously, that was a Dark Souls game.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. I just made me go back to Elden Ring when I was like, they showed one guy that was using Jedi powers, but really it was just using the sword as a boomerang, and he tried to use the Force to pull it back.
They did find a lightsaber in that game, right?
Oh Lord. I'm gonna look at
Not
that.
like the actual lightsaber, but they did find a sword that has a light blade that you have to like have faith 20, and the charge attack extends the blade and makes like a giant like golden swipe, golden energy blade.
Don't tell me that because I will go back and create a character just for the sole purpose of using that weapon.
I'll send you the link of where to find it.
Okay, because I was like, I will go back and literally I will go back and make a character in Elden Ring with the sole purpose of finding that weapon and making a video out of it. But anyway, that's just gonna have me thinking. This time you think about that one guy talking about you do not know of the Force and literally has Darth Maul's voice behind it. But that's neither here nor there. So Superman and Lois, because we need a good show in CW. Crap. So Superman and Lois, as far as this episode, it looks like it's setting up to I'm not going to say the season finale, but it's getting kind of close. Joe, you saw Superman and Lois. What did you think of it?
I've mostly been reading the synopsis, so I've lost a lot of context on this. Jordan has the boys are just going through boys stuff, taking drugs, getting superpowers, having your dad be Superman, obviously find out because he's not an idiot. Having the other son is having his girlfriend bring along the girl she kissed at summer camp to meet, so you can all three be friends. I don't see
that was
weird. See how that's gonna go wrong, but
yeah.
He's the one with power, so now he's got the Peter Parker look of I gotta be there. I'm right in front of the thing. Oh no, something bad's happened. I gotta go take care of that first. Come back. Oh, I can't explain how I got all these cuts and bruises. Okay, gotta go by. Meanwhile,
you gotta have the No Way Home thing. The No Way Home moment.
There's like, you could have just was like, yeah, I tripped and fell and scraped my hands and got cut on my face a little bit from the fall. Sorry, I'm late.
He's a superhero.
That's an easy out on his part. But instead he takes the Peter Parker. It's like the bus was broken. Meanwhile, on the Lois and Clark side, more stuff involving portals, and Superman's there, saving people from the portal.
I still think that's gonna involve Parasite coming out. I think we're finally gonna see Parasite.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see Parasite because the dude took the amulet, jumped in the portal, and I think he'll pop out looking like Parasite.
Yeah.
I will say this. They managed to pull the rug out from under us twice already.
Oh yeah.
They gave us red herrings twice. The first one was the Captain Luthor.
Yeah.
That was one. The other one is we swore up and down that was Doomsday. No lie.
It's the same suit that Doomsday. I think that's the thing about it. It's the same suit that Doomsday would actually wear. That's all I was like.
Exactly. We're getting Doomsday. And I wasn't mad at it.
No.
And then when it turned out to be Bizarro, I was like, I'm still not mad at it.
It was beautifully set up. I mean, I was wondering how they would bring Bizarro into it. It's a beautiful setup. We already knew about the existence of the multiverse and the fact that, they didn't do like Crisis on Infinite Earth and destroy every other Earth and leave Earth Prime as if that was a great story idea. But no, I love the fact that, you saw Bizarro and it's like, for him to get killed by a souped up general. Right? Yeah, Souped Up General killed Bizarro, which again I found was kind of odd. Like, you killed him that easily? I was kind of disappointed a little bit.
That was a disappointing turn. I was just like, really? Bizarro. Okay. Well,
You was giving Superman the business, and yet when you faced Anderson was like, you know what? Just kind of
I'm gonna choke him out. Is that what you want to do?
I was like, you just like, okay. And then it's weird to see, like I said before, not only the fact that the reason why Superman Lois works is because it's like every story just is like, it's like a great cake. It's layered upon layered upon layered upon layered. Because I was with Joe on that one to see John, to see Jordan go back and, your girlfriend and the girl she kissed at summer camp. And all I can think in my mind is I hear Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It playing. And I just wondered what is playing in Jordan's head right now after saving your brother from getting his ass kicked by a dude on X Kryptonite. Yeah, I was like, of all things, I was like, I thought that CW would be dirty and have that playing in the background. I thought they would have that playing in the background. I was like, that would be so dirty if that happened. But
the boldness of it all.
No, and then at the end of it all, with Lucy finally being the plan, I was like, I'm not mad about that. I get it. The whole, she's a true believer. The whole turn on her family and like, I'm sorry, this is the only way I can get this done. Again, it's okay. It was supposed to happen, but overall, it's a great episode. I mean, it is going to lead up to where, my money's still on Parasite. The only thing I can think of it would be differently is that it would be the alternate, because he has the pendants and he's really going to an alternate Earth. I was trying to think of that one Bizarro character that came from Earth 27 that Superman fought that I cannot think of to save my life right now. It'll come back to me later, but if it's not Parasite, it's gonna be that guy. He reminds me of a powered up Lobo, except without the tattoos and without the charisma. I just can't think of his name to save my life right now. He's kind of like Spider Side. He's kind of like Spider Side from Spider-Man. I'll put it that way. I just can't think. Yeah, he's like that. I just can't. Joe's eyebrows raised up. I said, yeah, he's like that. I just can't think of his name. His name will come back to me later. But Joe, I was like, but overall, Superman Lois was a great episode. Now, Flash, we're probably going to be on different sides of this because Joe said he liked it. I fell asleep. Chris's DVR went to sleep. So
DVR, yeah. So I ended up watching it on demand, which ended up still falling asleep. So
right.
I'm just like, I probably got 15, 20 minutes in because on demand it still plays the commercials. Sometimes you can fast forward them, sometimes you can't.
You gotta be stuck and watch them. You're right. So I'll go first. Don't get me wrong about the Flash. It just felt like, to me, really quickly, it just felt like a non-Flash episode. You were doing more solving outside of the suit than anything else. And it's like, it doesn't feel, and I guess we kind of got spoiled a little bit. I say we got spoiled a little bit because seasons 1 through 2, it was just great writing. And I think as we start to go into that undescribed territory of season 8, it's like the well is dry. It's like the well is dry. You don't really have a lot to go off of. And even more so, you're teasing that time is changing again, which how many more times are we going to keep beating the same horse? But then again, like I said,
you know that meme they used to run around like after Barry screwed up the timeline the first time?
Yeah.
Like when Diggle had a daughter and then he ended up having a son. Yeah. And that meme that was running around and kept saying, "Damn it, Barry."
Right.
That's you thought he messed it up before. Like, yeah, it's just like, how many are you trying to just rewrite? Oh, I don't feel like I'm just gonna rewrite. I'm just gonna rewrite it again. Your kids come back, they leave, they come back, they leave, they come out.
It just, like I said, to me, it's like it's beating a dead horse. I'm like, how many more times? And I think, like I said, I like me and Joe talked about earlier on earlier podcast. I think they kind of hit their level of supervillains. If you really think about it, you went Eobard Thawne, you went Reverse Flash, you went Zoom, you went Godspeed, you went Mirror Master, Weather Wizard, You went Captain Cold and Heat Wave. You
Black
went
Flash.
Turtle. You say what?
Black Flash.
You went
Black Flash, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you literally for almost 8 seasons dug the well dry.
There's
Somewhere-
one person left.
I don't think they're gonna do it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, that's exactly what this episode was setting up.
If
Who's
we
that?
go ahead, Joe.
It's Cobalt
was it?
Blue.
It's Cobalt.
Oh, Cobalt.
That's why I'm just like this is why I say I'm not
So no
hyped
more
about
Trickster, none of that. Damn.
it. Yeah, I mean,
I
to
mean,
me,
they can't do the second Mirror Master because there's no way they can do the heroin addicted Mirror Master.
not on CW now.
No.
Not on CW.
And they can't keep going back for Captain Cold because the actor doesn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah. Legends.
Smart
I
move.
said Legends.
Great
I said
character.
Legends Tomorrow.
Smart move.
Oh, Legends Tomorrow killed that. I still say the showrunner for LOT killed his passion for Captain Cold because he was perfect. Wentworth Miller was perfect as Leonard Snart. That's just me. He was
Him
perfect
and
casting.
Heat Wave were a perfect team, perfect
yeah.
catalyst. And when they killed him off, it took away Heat Wave's vibe. It took away his Abbott and Costello vibe. It took away all of that Tom and Jerry, whatever you want to call it, the duo. It just took away. It made him one note. It made him the snarky character that walks on the screen, gives you the one-liner, drinks a beer, and leaves. And I'm like, damn.
And the thing about it is like way to destroy a character. That's what made me mad. But then again, they're also trying to get Stephen Amell to come back to reprise his role as Oliver Queen. I'm like, you guys don't even know you gotta have these in talks for it because they already wrapped up their second season of Heels. So they've already finished filming the Stars up, which again, if you've never seen Heels on Stars, you really should. Great show. And they just finished wrapping up their second season. So now the CW is trying to go back in talks for him to come back and reprise his role as Oliver Queen on Arrow. Which I'm like,
oh, I don't know. Maybe you should have just finished the last season off with a regular run season and then ended it. Maybe. I'm just talking. Maybe gave us half a season, if that. I thought you gave us a third of a season. And that's what you gave us.
Well, that Christ on Infinite Earths where it turned him into the Spectre, and then you still don't have and then with all the power of the Spectre, you can't save the multiverse. Let me get this straight. One of the most powerful characters in DC, and you can't save the multiverse. that's the part I have. This little part I have a problem.
You're saying that Oliver Queen has to sacrifice himself to set this right, and it just didn't sit right.
No,
I love the crossovers. Don't get me wrong; crossovers were fun,
except how you Black Lightning. Go ahead.
Oh God, that was horrible. I hated that.
Except how they did Black Lightning, but go ahead because Black Lightning.
I'm gonna touch on that. Let me touch on that. I hated that they did that 5-part mini episode crossover. Ray Palmer got more screen time, and I have nothing against Brandon Routh or Ray Palmer, but he was in the entire freaking episode. When it came time for Black Lightning, when did he show up? Literally last 2 minutes of the episode,
and with 2 lines.
with 2 lines.
2 lines.
And what was his reason for being there? If Barry got out of line, Jefferson will be able to want to getting back in check.
But that's
because of his electricity. I'm like, when did this get set up?
Still, my favorite part where he was stupid enough to throw a lightning bolt at him.
Yes.
Just so we could do some, how do I phrase this? Moderately better earthbending techniques to make the lightning hula hoop around him back into Barry.
That was still funny. I was like, so it's like so you're trying to sit there and say that for every person on this pseudo Justice League, that the person who could stop the Flash was Black Lightning. No. It's like it's just no. First and
I don't
foremost,
know where the magic fell apart because I remember when Barry first shows up on Supergirl, which was an unprecedented thing because it was not only was it a crossover episode, it was a crossover network episode.
Right.
So number one, that was unprecedented. Two, I liked the banner. I liked the back and forth. It was cute. It was fun. And she was bubbly and it made it all happy. And even when they were around each other, it was just like, oh, even the episode where Oliver and Barry switched powers.
Yeah.
Absolutely funny.
Yeah.
Because Barry got Oliver back for getting him. And it was fun. He's like, this is not a game. I'm like, shit, that was funny. That was hilarious.
He sat there and gave him a little ride. He says, "Oh, that's how it feels." Yeah, Barry, you were doing that to a lot of people. He's like, that's how it feels. But I mean, don't get me wrong, you're exactly right. Crossovers like that were perfect. Even for Supergirl and its horrible writing, the crossover still to me made it enjoyable. But when it came to Black Lightning, that's what made me mad about the showrunners, because it's like when the showrunners sat there and said that Black Lightning is not going to be tied to the Arrowverse. Why?
First season I understood, because you got to figure out, you got to get your legs. You're a freshman in the whole game. I got it the first season. The first season, I understand. That's fine. But eventually, you're going to have to. But it would be a crime not to.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Because I did get to talk with people on other podcasts. I was like, here's my problem with Black Lightning. The showrunner did not know what they wanted to do. You had a great villain, Tobias Wellen. You had a great villain. I can't think of his name who played him. But he played Tobias Well great. I loved his cadence. I loved the presence. It was like having Kingpin in the DC. That's what it really was. It was having Kingpin in a DC-like situation, and I was all for it. But the problem is the showrunner did not know which way they wanted to go with it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with covering real life situations to reflect reflect the world around us. No problem with that. The problem is you never really had a straight story. I mean, even when Wayne Brady came in as Gravedigger, again, a great casting, because we all know Wayne Brady can act. We've all seen the Dave Chappelle skit. We all know Wayne Brady can get dark. That's not beyond the pale. So him playing Gravedigger was great, but it never.
That was actually a great arc, to be honest with you. That was a great arc.
Yeah. I love that arc with him playing Gravedigger. And it's just like, it just felt like it never had a straight line story that could line up and continue it. Even when they fast forwarded to Thunder and Lightning and what they did with Lightning, I think you know what, Joe? I think you got a point. I just now realized, Joe, you got a point. What they did with Lightning is what Naomi is right now.
Yeah, they just made her a secondary Thunder but just not interesting.
Yeah. I'll give you that.
The issue I have with the Black Lightning is very reminiscent of what I said about Luke Cage all those when I first joined. The moment you dropped Cottonmouth is when the show started to decline. The moment they dropped Tobias Whale is when the show started to decline.
I remember that.
Now, Black Mariah, to her credit, is a very good villain. But when you compare it to what you had with Cottonmouth, your show just kept going downhill. To the point where then Luke Cage becomes a crime lord.
Yeah, because Cottonmouth.
I so wanted to. I'm like, please continue it, because I know he's not a crime lord, quote unquote.
No, he was helping them Luke Cage by the end of that thing.
Yeah, he was like, the only way he can stop it is from the inside, and I'm like, are you saying undercover-ish? I don't know.
He would have been under Wilson Fisk's thumb by the third season at that point.
But I mean, that's what Black Mariah put in his head. Like, you can't stop it. You can't stop it from the outside. Look what you've done so far, and yet this place is still standing. But what if you controlled it? That was the whole thing at the end of that second season, was like, what if you could control it? You know, I'm going to give you this place. Even though Nightshade thought she was going to get it, and she was pleasantly disappointed. Now, I will say this. between Bushwhacker and Luke Cage, I give Bushwhacker. I did like his character.
Oh yeah,
but
yeah.
I did like his character. I really did. Now, Cottonmouth to me, I'm gonna be honest, Marshala, that dude just
fantastic actor anyway. So
I mean, he gets to come back and be Blade, so we can say we're good.
I mean,
the doors are open. Come in, please.
I mean, you can always come back. I mean, technically, he's like, well, Cottonmouth is a part of the Serpent Society if they go that route. But no, I mean, yeah, we're gonna see him in Blade. Let's just be honest. We're gonna see Blade and the Black Knight probably on a MS-13 team very in the not too distant future. But the thing about Luke Cage, though, like you said, it was they didn't know what direction they wanted to go with. At the same time, I got all the respect in the world for the guy who acted for Luke Cage, but he didn't scream, and I forgot who said this. He did not scream New York to me. The fact that they had
somebody else said the same thing. That might have been you. That
was Crazy 8. It was Crazy 8 the Great.
It was Crazy 8.
Yeah, it was Crazy 8. So it was on your podcast. He said it. It didn't scream New York to him. It's like the reason why they had to turn around and change the entire origin story of him being from Georgia instead of New York was almost like force feeding him. At the same time, it was Crazy 8 the Great because he said, "Oh, and the dab." He said he hated him for the dab at the end.
Yep.
It was the dab.
Yep. That's what it was.
But no, it's just, with all those shows now on Disney Plus, like I said, they already talked about Daredevil getting rebooted. Now, it may mean, most of the original cast is on except for the girl that plays Karen. But we know
she said she said she's all for coming back. I can't remember her name, but she said she I can't remember her name. But she said she's all for coming back. She said she's open. She's more than open.
I can't. Every time I see her, I want to say True
Mark Wade run, or I hope to God they adapt the Jed McKay run. Or
if they do, I think they
adapt the Chip Zdarsky
run. Oh, you want to go straight from the Devil's Reign run?
I just want one season, and it goes straight for the jugular.
I can see that, but I don't know. We'll see, because again, I still sit there and say, I mean, me and Joe talked about it. If any show needs a reboot, it's Iron Fist, because Jesus Christ,
Deborah Ann Wall. That's her name, Deborah Ann Wall.
Yeah, that's her name. I keep on wanting to say True Blood every time I see her, because that's the only aside from
that's what I know.
Daredevil, that's all I remember her from is True Blood. But no, it's like, I think in time all those shows are gonna get rebooted. I just think that with Luke Cage, I need somebody else besides what is his name?
Mike Coulter.
Mike Coulter. He's doing great on Evil. Evil's a great show on CBS on Paramount. But aside from that,
I think the reboot we're getting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna be similar to what we got with Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. It's Hulk from Edward Norton, just not all of it.
Yeah, because
there's certain elements they took from it, like when he talks about, I tried putting a bullet in my mouth to take the other guy out. That's what Edward Norton did. That was that beginning. That was that scene. So I think what if they do reboot it, which it sounds like they may, they're not going to do like a hard reboot. Because it's not necessary for a hard reboot.
I mean, when we saw it in She-Hulk, we saw some scenes of it where you see her talking to Bruce Banner, and it's almost like a de-evolved again, because they went from the combination of Hulk and Bruce Banner back to him being Bruce again. So it's kind of like, okay, so we see what you guys are doing, and at the same time, his whole, and on top of it, his arm's completely healed. So which again kind of made me mad about Endgame, because I'm like, wait a second. You're telling me through gamma radiation he can heal immediately, but yet he only used the Infinity Stones once, and he's down one arm for a while. Okay, all right, I understand. You gotta give him a Hulk handicap. Cool. I mean, he did gotta get a handicap because Thanos put hands. I was like, you know what? Before I ask Joe what news and comic book stuff he's got to ask, I gotta ask you this question, because I was gonna ask this on your podcast, because I've already asked Joe this. I got his answer. If you had to pick out of the current MCU, what was the most disrespectful ass whooping you've ever seen in the current MCU? disrespectful ass whooping. Because for me, I will tell you mine. Because
Okay, go ahead.
He was watching Captain Walker get whooped by the entire him getting whooped in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier by the Dora Milaje, and the fact that she held a shield over him and you hear
and was ready to take it back home.
Yeah. You just hear her go, you just hear her say, "It is not worth it. Leave it with it." And it just drops.
It literally, while the Thanos and Hulk ass whooping was perhaps the funniest thing.
Yeah.
And he does that in the comics. So I wasn't surprised. I was just like, man, he really handled him.
Yeah.
But seeing John Walker have his behind handed to him by the Dora Milaje and seeing Bucky sit back and literally say, "Nah, I'm not in this. I already know what these sisters is about. I already He's looking at Sam like, Sam, we don't like him anyway. Let them whoop him.
No, the best part about that fight is Zemo like just slowly goes in the door to the bathroom.
Yeah, he's just like, well, they're gonna do their thing. I'm going to go ahead and sneak into the sewer.
It's just funny. It's like, for me, you see the guy who plays Battlestar just look at John like he tried to give him that lineup like, bruh.
Yeah. We both got our behinds. Right? You ain't have to do that. I told you to wait.
As Sam said, he's crossing a line, but he's right.
Right. I gotta watch that show again. That was so good.
But I gotta ask this because I know Joe's. Joe, remind me, what was your disrespectful ass whooping the MCU? Because I thought I remember, but I forgot. One? Say what?
Can it be a proverbial one?
Yeah, we did allow that. We allow proverbial.
That would be Doctor Strange versus Dormammu.
That's it.
He just literally just bored him into
he just aggravated him
into victory.
He was like, wait a minute. We've done this before. He's like, yes, I can keep on doing this. He pulled a toddler move on you. Do you understand?
The only normal character that causes an enemy to rage quit. That's just
he pulled, how Stewie keeps calling Lois. He's like, Mommy,
yeah,
Mom,
yeah,
Mommy. He literally goaded you as a toddler into giving up.
But
I gotta go with John Walker and Dora Milaje. That is by far the most disrespectful, awe-inducing, and satisfying behind whooping I've ever seen. Because they made sure you did not like John Walker. And the thing was, he wasn't a bad guy.
No.
It was just, dude, you're trying too hard.
What's that look for, Joe? That looks
You're trying too hard.
I would say actual physical fight that's most disrespectful would be Carol versus Thanos, and just the no sell on all the blows.
Oh, the headbutt.
Is like, all right, I just need only the Power Stone because this ain't working. But the headbutt.
That was satisfying.
Yeah,
that was satisfying because she comes in with it. And that was satisfying. He was just, when he realized it's like, oh, the headbutt. And it literally just kind of like it pissed her off even more.
Oh, yeah. That was funny.
He was just like,
it's like Wanda just you give it to Wanda. She had 5 more seconds. That fight.
It would have been. It would have set match after
that.
That was the set match right there. I don't even know who you are. You will.
That was still the most weirdest of two lines put together. You taking everything from me. Heifer, I don't know who you are.
That's where you just get that face of immediately apologize.
You notice nobody jumped in, nobody else jumped in. They were just kind of like,
that's the face she gives is the immediately apologize, get this woman flowers, and take her out to the nicest restaurant in town.
Oh God. Well, that being said, Joe, what news and comics do you have for us?
What news did we have? I know we had the Nova announcement where The writer, Sabir Bariza, I believe is his name. Of course, I'm terribly wrong. I know I am.
We apologize for destroying
has
the
been
last
tapped to write the script for a Nova project, which we don't know if it's a movie or for a series.
Mm-hmm.
And then let me look at my notes. Because I
The
mean,
way-
we
the
keep
way-
the fun thing about Friday is we keep having weird stuff just pop up.
In mid-podcast.
Oh, don't. Oh, I got news about freaking Fast and Furious.
What I was going to say, the Fast and Furious is, don't tell me Fast and Furious Battle Space. Vin Diesel and Starship Troopers.
No, the
No,
Spaceballs.
it's a line that Vin Diesel did in an interview, and he says, "Don't worry, the angels are coming." I'm like, don't tell me that Charlie's Angels is involved in this too, please.
No, I take this as he's becoming like what Punisher did, where he's got where Dom is now powered by the angels, and his
I try not to remember that version of Punisher. Angel guns.
No, but now it's angel cars. Like the cars can only hit demons.
Angel Punisher.
What else?
I swear to God, if he mentions Sam and Dean Winchester, I'll flip.
I'm sorry. What did you say, Joe?
I said it has now been confirmed that Wakanda Forever is now officially wrapped filming.
Okay.
We're moving into post-production. And the manga Kaiju number 8 is now getting adapted into an anime, which should be out sometime next year.
Nice.
And what else do we got? Us making fun of stuff.
You must have covered a lot. Or making fun of stuff.
No, that was pretty much it.
Okay. Before you go to the comics, Joe, what did Chris? Anything you want to share before we drop into the comic pools?
Well, yeah. Other than that, and then the whole Morbius. Oh God.
I'm looking forward to that.
The reviews are in.
Yeah,
I'll have to watch this. I gotta watch this, and this is one. But the reviews do not sound good at all. According to Sony, I sound like I'm on my show now. According to Sony,
go for it.
According to Sony, the reviews are in. Well, not according to Sony, but the reviews are in from the critics, and they just said that Morbius is a dumpster fire. It seemed there from word is coming out that they don't know whether they want to be a part of the MCU or not due to this, being the Spider-Man character.
Yeah.
Some scenes were taken out. They're saying that the scenes that we seen with Michael Keaton as Adrian Toomes, aka Vulture, were not in the film, and they are confused. And me personally, I'm just saying, okay, Disney, you may not be able to buy Sony straight out,
not yet,
buy their parent, but you can buy a parent company, therefore allowing you to turn around and own them anyway.
I look at it this way: Disney is like Rocket. Disney is pretty much saying, "How much for Spider-Man? It's not for sale.
Yeah.
How much for Sony? It's like how much for Sony? It's like just give Disney." I say this like we joke about this all the time. Disney literally has the Infinity Gauntlet, and the only two things it does not have is DC and Sony. And I think Warner Brothers / Time Warner Media will probably do everything in their power to make sure that Disney never owns DC. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's an understood notion that Disney will never own DC, but again, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney, because all the multimedia intellectual properties that it owns, who's not saying won't go for DC one day?
I think they can buy. I think it was something around like it was like right after the Fox merger. It was something about or the Fox buyout, I should say.
Yeah.
It was something to the effect of that they could literally like buy Apple or something like that would lead to them owning Sony, but they don't want to do it. And I know for a fact that the only reason why they're working with them on any actual Spider-Man projects is because that was the deal, because Kevin Feige used to work over at Sony. And when he was there when they were making Amazing Spider-Man 2, and they would ask for ideas and he would give them. They would never use them. He left, and I can't remember her name. That's kind of running that show over there, but she threw a sandwich at his head. She threw a sandwich at his head. And so time passed. Kevin Feige is now the chess.
I know who you're talking about. I can't think of her name in my life right now.
Yeah,
but I know who you're
not
talking
Kathleen
about.
Kennedy. It's not Kathleen Kennedy because she's over the Star Wars stuff. Or
no, not her. No.
But
It's,
I can't remember her name. Pascal. Amy Pascal.
There you go.
Amy Pascal.
Yeah.
And so now this whole thing with the Tom Holland version of Spider-Man was coming up, and they needed help writing it. And they came to Feige, and Feige said, the only way we'll help you is if we have producing credit. And therefore, we get paid, you get paid, everybody's happy. We get to use them, you get to use them according to what we need him to do.
Right.
And everybody's happy. And this is why all 3 Spider-Man films have opened up at past 90 million, just opening.
Because of Marvel's involvement. Because they've actually, at the same time, Kevin Feige probably got the Rise of the Imperial March plan every time he walks to a Sony studio, just to let them know.
There's interviews of people like art directors and people in illustration and everything that's working on the MCU films.
Yeah.
When he has meetings, like you run Guardians, Joe, you run Spider-Man, or no, we'll say, Will, you run Guardians, Joe, you run the Avengers, and I'm Kevin Feige. So now whatever's going on, you know what's going on with this franchise, you know what's going on with this franchise. That way everybody can team together. So it's like, okay, nothing overlaps, nothing reverts, and everything makes sense.
Yeah.
And that this is why we have 11, 12 years of MCU that makes perfect sense
and still makes revenue.
The
Infinity Saga, I was looking at the record for this the other day. Now you think about it, the Infinity Saga is literally the highest grossing comic book based movie genre, and that's taking every other genre of film, and they were like, take your classic, horror movie series, your dramas, your foreign films, things of that nature. The Infinity War Saga, all 22 movies, blows them out the water because you would have to take the movies made between the 80s, the 90s, and the entire Disney collection to match up what the Infinity War Saga did in the same time. So it's definitely profitable. I get that. But the problem with Sony is, of course, like I said, I'm looking forward to Mobius. I know because we're having our podcast on the day that it opens, I'm going to try to convince my fiance to let the kid sleep by himself so we can go to the movie theaters Thursday night. That may work, that may not, because he might wake up and realize he's by himself. So that's probably not going to fly.
What's going on? Kevin!
So realistically, we may be going to go see it Saturday, but I'm definitely going to go see it. Now, I've always taken, some critics, whenever they see something, it's like, I'm not saying critics' job is to hate or crap on stuff, but
it's their job to hate and crap on stuff.
But at the same time, it's like someone used Deadpool as a reference. Like when Deadpool had its screenings, everybody loved Deadpool. Again, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2 were great. Looking forward to 3. The movie that actually did better than what the critics gave it credit for was probably Rogue One, because everybody wanted to crap on Rogue. I mean, every critic crapped on Rogue One.
They did.
And then when you went to go see the movie theaters, it's like, well, what did you expect it to be? This is basically between this movie is the between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. It takes place between episodes 3 and 4. So of course, this is just the whole thing. It's like it's just the plan to get the plans of the Death Star to Princess Leia. Yes, but I love those sub stories because it's kind of funny when people go, "Well, I don't like Rogue One." I said, "But you like the Mandalorian, right?" Well, yeah.
That's all that is.
It's
another sub story because there's other characters that have other story. That's why it makes sense.
Right. And so whenever I see a critic sit there and say, well, Morbius wasn't that good, and I'm like, okay, well, your job is to hate on stuff. I mean, if I got paid to go sit in movie theaters and get paid to give my opinion on stuff, hey, to keep the gravy train rolling, I'd probably say some stuff was bad too. But secretly, I'll be like, hey, man, I just wrote it for the job. I love it personally.
Let's be honest. The other Spider-Man films, minus Spider-Man 3 with Venom, are not bad.
No,
they're not bad. Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2 are actually really good.
Yeah. And that's why
Spider-Man 1 and 2 are really good. 3 had good parts, and most of that was because of Sandman.
Yeah.
I would argue the Green Goblin subplot in Amazing 2 served no purpose.
Oh, you're right. Correct. I did click that.
Also, unrelated notes. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you two watch, but Amphibia, they recreated the Vader hallway scene in the newest episode of Amphibia. It was hilarious.
I'm curious to see it just for that scene alone.
It's hilarious.
I am curious just to see it for that scene alone, because if you're gonna create the hallway scene, I need to see what you did with it, because
and I'm like, oh, they're creative. I know what this is.
Not gonna lie, that Vader scene is still the most standout Vader scene I've ever seen.
It is right up there with the scene in Vader of the comics where it's like, we have you surrounded. Yes, I am surrounded by nothing but dead men.
Yes. That's the reason why I'm a fan of the Sith. Only a Sith deals in absolutes.
I sat in the theater and I wasn't alone, because I heard somebody else say it, and I'm looking at my wife and I said, and that's why Vader is the way that's why he's the man. And somebody else said, and I heard somebody else, that's why he's a badass. And I'm like, what he said.
The door open up. It's Lord Vader. So I was like, when your saber does more talking than you, and you instill fear into everybody in the hallway. That's like
just by showing up.
Right.
That is probably the one thing I do not like about Vader is where he's sometimes shoehorned in on things. He doesn't need to be in. Like, the best example actually is the Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys
talking about? Battlefront
or
no, Jedi Outcast, where they just shoehorn.
Oh, okay.
In.
Okay. Because I was thinking about
because on Battlefronts, when you're on the plane, I think it was it Dagobah? It might have been Dagobah.
Yeah, it was Dagobah.
And you're fighting, and you're doing great. By the way, you're just doing great. And then he shows up, and you're just like, how much health level do I have? Okay.
And he gets you with one move. At least that's what he
did.
You're
just like how
that made me so mad. I was like, okay, I'm ready for you, Vader. I was like, okay, maybe I'm not ready for you.
The dark side.
But no, I'm looking forward to that, especially with Kenobi. Kenobi, I think, is going to be great. Morbius, I have all the hope in the world for. I really think it's going to be a really good movie.
Want them to succeed. I do. I want them to succeed. I
will
really
tell you why. For me, Jared Leto needs a win. He does. He needs a win. I mean,
because it does look good. It does look good.
Because I always said it best. I think Zack Snyder, really quick, Zack Snyder screwed him on Suicide Squad and on Justice League. Because yes, his Joker was a variant of the New 52 post-damage Joker. So I was like, okay, I can live with that because I know which Joker you're going with. But screen time and cutting wise, it just didn't make him look like the Joker I hope he would be. And then you basically make him look like the Joker from the White Knight series, which again makes me so mad that you put him at the end in the future apocalypse where Superman is literally one world government, and you sit there and tell him, well, you should know about losing loved ones, don't you, Batman? And you just see Ben Affleck's Batman look at him like, you will say one more word and I will end you.
I already don't want you here.
Right.
I told you, yeah. Which that was a great kind of.
I mean, I loved it, but it's like, That's what made me so mad because
But
Jared
I
Leto.
liked that version. I liked that version.
Yeah, the White Knight
opposed to-
Joker. Yeah, the White Knight Joker versus the damaged Joker. I was like, I can live with that. But the way they cut the scene, it's just. I'm thinking it's Zack Snyder, and again, I kept on saying you gave the keys to Zack Snyder because he made a mediocre Man of Steel, and I say mediocre because don't get me wrong, I love Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill is probably the best Superman casting we've had since Christopher Reeves, and it's creepy how identical they look. Between him and Christopher Reeves in his heyday, it is creepy for people that are not related.
And he loves the role. He absolutely loves the role. And when you fire a guy who loves his job on his birthday,
and the thing about it is only because they wouldn't give him producer credit. I'm like, we understand. You gave Ben Affleck a producer credit. And don't get me wrong, Ben Affleck to me still played a great Bruce Wayne. I think he did a good Batman. If you take Bruce Wayne as far as where he was, okay, great Bruce Wayne. Now you made him look like a technically adaptable Batman using more of his gadgets and fighting skills. But again, that's okay because we've had
his warehouse scene is probably the best scene in BVS.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not mad about that. But again, this is all Snyder stuff. And that's why I said I was so happy when Patty Jenkins was like, Wonder Woman is mine. Snyder has nothing to do with it. I was so glad that James Wan was like, Aquaman is mine. Snyder has nothing to do with it. I forgot the guy who directed Shazam because he also made his pet project. I can't think of his name to save my life right now, but he directed Shazam, and that was good. And I'm like, when it's amazing when you have 3 different directors and they all did 3 great DC films that didn't involve Snyder. And I'm like, the problem isn't DC. I didn't say thank you. I was like, the problem isn't with Snyder. The problem isn't with DC. It was with Snyder trying to basically make a 300 era-esque out of DC. You know, you try to create the universe all in one setting. That's what messed it all up to me. But, you know, Ari the King might disagree with me. He still thinks Justice League, the Snyder Cut is the best thing smoking. So I can't wait to have him.
I gotta agree with Aryeh on that one because the Snyder Cut is so much better than the Justice League cut.
It is, but it's 4 hours.
I can split. Look, when people say that, I tell people that I was like, you forget when we got that film, this was on the tail of Endgame, which we sat 3 hours in, and people have seen it numerous times.
And I have no problem
with the Snyder Cut. We could at least pause it, take it in sections, digest it. And personally, if they had lit that cut out, they could have split that in 2 movies and had a solid.
Which again, I agree with Ari about. I agree with him when he said it should have been split into 2 movies. I agree with him fully because that way it would have been a lot more. And yeah, it's 4 hours, but I'm like, 2 hours is mostly fluff. First off, who in the world writes it to where Martian Manhunter shows up at the end when everything's cool? I have been watching from afar. Mother, you should have been here from Jump Street.
Considering the fact of it wasn't even supposed to be him.
Right.
It was supposed to be Jon Stewart showing up.
Yes. He said you would come. I was like, green reflection upon Alfred's face. He said you would be here. Mother. And I'm like, and then you think about it, it's like Martian Manhunter has been there since the first
Man of
Superman
Steel.
movie. And I'm like,
so he's been watching, and I like the fact that he's been around. I like that, but you showed up
at the end
after the big battle,
so mad.
And like, your excuse was there's a bigger war coming. Also, you knew they.
See, if I was Batman, I would be more mad about the fact that wait a minute. So you, being a powerful cosmic being, could have helped us with Thanos. I'm sorry, could have helped us with Darkseid or Steppenwolf or a metal Steppenwolf, which is another reason why I didn't like the Snyder Cut because I was so tired of Steppenwolf. Give me Darkseid. Give me Darkseid where the hands unfolded and he kind of just went like, come on, which way I want it first?
Darkseid shares the same. I said this to somebody else. Darkseid has the same energy as Prince. They was like, what do you mean? I said, Prince in heels can steal your girl and you won't say nothing.
Right. Mhm.
Thanos can whoop your behind wearing a skirt, and you can't say nothing.
Right.
That's just what it is.
But I was expecting, I'm like, I kept on saying, because I said on this podcast with Joe, I said, you know what'll make the Snyder Cut great? If you take out Steppenwolf and you bring in Darkseid and he's the person they fight.
Mm-mm.
He would have been, that would have redeemed the cut. And I'm gonna tell you why I would redeem the cut.
Nope.
Because Steppenwolf, hang on, Joe. Steppenwolf was not believable. He was like that angry nephew that never got the appreciation that he was searching for.
He did come off. He came off needy.
Yeah,
he came off needy.
So
when it came to Darkseid, he came off extremely needy.
Yeah, and he
like,
had
but other than that, when he wasn't dealing with them or decide, he was. Oh, I'm the man.
But when it came to Darkseid, you still have 100. He's like, when you have one of the arbiters come up and say, you still owe this man 100 planets. You still owe him 100 conquered planets. You think you have the right to talk to his name? I was like, dang, that's when you know you're in the doghouse. You still got a while.
Like, you still in debt. You ain't got no business. That's Godfather moves. You still in debt. You ain't even got no business being talking to me right now.
But no, it's just that. But what are you gonna say, Joe, about that? Because I know you disagree with me on the fact of Darkseid saving the movie.
No, Darkseid can be in the movie. I highly disagree that it should have been Darkseid. You replace Steppenwolf with Calabac. All that neediness makes sense.
It would make sense. Right.
That movie took a D movie and made it to a solid C. They made the Flash into a giant sexual harassment creeper.
You ain't lying.
You are right. Martian Manhunter should have been there from Jump Street. This is still probably like my least favorite Batman out of all of them.
That's fair.
I do not like that Batman.
Well, I will say that Flash was redeemed in my eyes, consider what we got before.
Nope. The moment he touched that girl's face, even if it's Iris, he is never.
Oh, you talking about Iris?
He has never met that woman. That woman has no knowledge of existence. He freezes time to save her, which that's fine. That's what Barry does. But he does not sit there and lick at her and gently strokes her cheek without her ever knowing it, because he's got aggression. The moment he touched her, is all right. This is not Barry Allen. This is not a Flash I want to have anything to do with. This man is a stalker.
That was still the creep, and plus his running style never really got better. It was like
his running style was like he's swimming in a fish.
Oh, the toddler run.
Yeah,
it's not a toddler run.
It's a toddler run.
It was almost like he's throwing it was like he was throwing lightning at his feet. Like you get like the way he was running, it's almost like he's throwing Speed Force at his feet.
Which actually that would make sense, but still.
It just didn't look right.
Off his character, regardless of the rest of the movie, was him doing that whole creeper thing.
Yeah,
like that's the creepiest thing ever in the entire movie.
That's fair. But anyway, that's funny. But Joe, I think it's time for us to go into the comic pool portion of this, sir. So just let me know when you're ready.
Oh, to the group chat, I did put that amphibia thing.
Oh, I was watching over here. I had it on mute. I was over here watching it on my phone. Like, that is the hallway scene.
Yeah, you can switch on over to comics. We got it. We're good.
Okay. Hang on a second. Because, let's see. Is it showing? Dang, no, it's not. That's weird. No, should be showing. Is your screen up?
It's just showing the Hunter. Do two people on a big screen and just mod me out.
That's just odd. I've never seen it to where it's not. I got nothing. Try there we go. All right, now you're good.
All right, first up, we got our top 5. First up is Trial of the Amazons. This is the Wonder Girl tie-in, written by Joella Jones, art by Joella Jones, and colors by Jordi Belair. So this has a unique property to it this time around, as this is technically issue 8 of the now canceled Wonder Girl series, which is entirely Batman's fault. Because rather than carry on this gorgeous book with a really great plot, they opted to make a book about all the Robins, which is tanking in sales at the moment.
Yeah, but I was kind of mad. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe, because I was really enjoying this issue.
So this picks up where issue 7 left off. The Brazilian Amazons, the Esquicitas, I cannot pronounce
Do we
that.
ever get a pronunciation check on that?
No, I say it differently like every time. But the Brazilian tribe of Amazons that Yora actually belongs to picks her up and fills her in on her heritage. And then we kind of have a transitional scene of, hey, the Themyscirian sisters are holding an event and we are to attend. The tribal chieftain goes like, hey, I can't do this. I'm too weak in body. So, Poinita, is that what her is that how her name is pronounced? Poinita?
Say it again.
The one who the chiefess puts his lead.
Yep, that's how you say it right. You said it right.
It could be something else, but says you're gonna go, and then we get all the Esquicitas go. We get a nice scene with Yara, which was alluded to earlier, where they're all at the dinner banquet, and Yara, being one of the main representatives, is eating up with Hippolyta. She recognizes Hippolyta because Hippolyta, during her brief tenure as Wonder Girl, was also with the Justice League at the moment because Diana wasn't around during this. So she's like, this chicken is real good. And it's like, oh, wait, gotta do it like the Greeks. Your chicken is most filling and warming my belly. And there's the background. You can see Hippolyta's like, girl, what the hell was wrong with you?
That's so funny.
And like, even Yara was just like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. She's like, the chicken's good. It's like, that's nice to hear. I knew your mom. She was sweet.
That part was still funny. Just like, I love this chicken. And her friend looked at her like, just really? Just of all the things you could say to the queen, that's what you're saying?
Then it jumps forward in time to where Hippolyta has been assassinated. Cassie is still trying to suss out suspects as a detective. Approaches Artemis like, so did you do it? And Artemis listeners like, we're friends, so that's your freebie.
The warning she gave her. Yeah, that was the warning.
Yeah, we're friends. That's your freebie. Other than that, I really enjoyed the book as usual with Joella Jones. You got to read the book twice because the art just distracts you. I love this series so much. I can't wait to see who it is. We already know who's going to win this. It's a foregone conclusion. But we do have at the final panel, which thankfully, because I know who's doing this book, we don't have. We do have everybody in their funeral garb drawn by Joella Jones. And Joella Jones is probably the only one I've seen make Wonder Woman look Grecian.
I was going to say more. Well, now that I think about it, you're actually right. I kind of saw more Middle Eastern features, but you're kind of right.
Moving on over. Chris, you got anything?
I am reading Spider-Man.
Oh,
you catch that Spider-Man. I am also reading Reckoning War. Catch that.
Have you gotten to read the Beyond issue yet?
Not yet.
Oh, you're in for a treat on that one.
Yeah, I love this stuff. And then I'm also reading Avengers. My Black Panther's already put up because I've read them already.
Has it improved? Wait, which Avengers is that?
That is issue 54.
No, I mean,
Avengers are dead.
Avengers?
No. It's the Are You There? Reality is Doing Yours is next. The Judgment. Oh, this is Axe. The other one is Avengers Forever. That's the other one I got.
Oh yeah, that's that other event that's going on right now.
Yeah. They have so many events.
See, that's why I said. This is why I said, Chris, you and Joe. See, that's what I said. I thought I had a good comic book stash, but between you and Joe, y'all make me look small.
I'm still reading that. I still have the Milestone series that I'm finishing off, Hardware, Static, Icon,
Static
and Rocket.
did real well. I liked how
Yeah,
Static
it
did.
really, I'm so glad they brought it back. I am so glad.
I am so glad that's how they decided to introduce Ebon.
Yes. Great. It is. I mean, it was never a bad series. So just to see them bring it back, it was just.
Well, because that's what I was looking for in all 6 issues. Like, where the hell's Ebon in all this? Because they literally tagged everybody. Like the final fight is just the generic goon squad.
Yep.
Had in the cartoon. And I'm sitting there like, where's Ebon?
Where's Ebon? Right.
Nice.
Good stuff. Good
Everything
stuff.
on
I'm
Wonder
glad.
Girl?
Oh no, Wonder Girl to me, well, you had to remind me of the cancellation. I was like, man, I was really ready to actually see the contest, but I was like, wait a second, this was actually before the cancellation. So I was like, that's how you get us. That's how you get us.
You know what? They do a lot of cancellations a lot more now. It's weird.
It's more Batman books.
Yeah, this is true. There's so many freaking Batman titles. It's nuts.
I love Batman. Truly, I do. He is my favorite all-time hero. But there is so many other stories. Because how many more ways? And I say this with all respect in the world. How many more ways can you tell a Batman story and make it seem fresh? How? Hush was good. Don't get me wrong. Hush was great. The Long Halloween was good. Death in the Family was good. I know I'm missing like 10.
That's why, and I'm so glad. I'm not so glad. I'm so upset that it ended. This was years ago, but like Gotham City PD was a great run.
That was a fantastic book.
You know, and I mean, I'm like, I never thought I needed to see more of that. And Batman was probably in the series 3 times, and he was so far in he was mentioned in one. I think you see his shadow in another episode, in another issue, and probably mentioned somewhere else. And then it was something about the Robins dying. They kept finding, people dressed as Robin dead. But that was it. Yeah. Everything else was about the precinct.
But I can live with that though. Because but I can live with that because it's a different story. And that to me is where it's like, I don't mean to say I get Batman fatigue, but it's like, you do something like with Gotham City PD. I'll even take Gotham City Sirens. I'll even take even the one, Joe, you showed me they did a new rendition of Batgirls. I'll even read that because it's different. Although Nightwing is...
I'm reading that more for the art than I am the story.
Although Nightwing is really one of my favorite series right now. I love Nightwing, but
I mean, especially after Joker War, you're just kind of like, okay, dude,
yeah,
you officially screwed this entire city. Like, let's see what everybody else thinks about this.
Although I will say with Batgirls, the reveal that they're using a Batman Beyond villain in the current times makes it interesting.
Yeah.
I have to check that out. I don't have it. But what if it's back? I don't have it. I don't have it on me. I don't have the second issue on me.
Yeah, the what
if it's Miles. Yeah, it's Miles Morales. It's like the first one. What was he in the first one?
Captain America.
What?
Yeah, I think he was Captain. I think he was Captain America in the first one. The second one is what if it's Thor.
I think the one coming
like what if Miles Morales? So it's like I'm like, oh, they're surrounding the what if around one character.
What if Miles Morales was Thor?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the whole one event right now too. So
yeah. And what if stories have always been good? What if stories were always good? Exiles was always good.
Oh yeah,
because you could never run out of a story because it was just anything. You could
just make the story bad by taking Blink out of it.
Argument there.
That book fell apart the moment they took Blink out of it.
It did. I hated when they took her down. Oh, I hated that.
All right, moving on. We got Human Target, book number 6. Now, we do need to preface something. This is the last book of season 1. This is
That was still
taking
messed
a
up.
hiatus until September. But this is where we leave in season 1 of Human Target. The long and short of this one is Christopher Chance and Ice have a giant fight because Christopher Chance figures out who poisoned him.
Mm-hmm.
Lot of makeup sex, and then Guy Gardner becomes a crazed stalker that commits home invasion. Ice continuously tells him to leave. All we hear from Guy Gardner is "Baby, come on," and then we talked about this to the point where I think we're both okay that what happened was justified self-defense against a crazed home invasion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised that it's Guy Gardner at all.
Well, in this version, they freeze him solid and punch him and shatter him.
Hey, yeah, I'm still mad about that because I was like, first off, a creepy Guy Gardner, and you're gonna then tell me that all it took was a simple distraction, and he's basically Sub-Zero.
So I took it as honestly as Ice was freezing him nonstop, and the attention just got diverted to Christopher Chance, so the construct shield went down, and she just got him in a one-shot freeze.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's Guy Gardner, so it only takes one punch.
I was just stuck off the fact the matter was just like, he said all he needed was just one moment of distraction. Next thing you know, and all he needed was one punch. I knew I had to give it to him though. The whole story
I still think about the Batman punch. I still think about that. It's still funny and satisfying at the same time.
It doesn't matter what media, it's always one punch, and that's all it takes.
Justice League Doom will always be my favorite. Just the simple fact of how to take down Green Lantern, destroy him mentally. I was like, when you have that down in a file, how to stop Green Lantern, destroy his mental capacities for using the ring, how to do so. Imagine his dead girlfriend. Damn.
Oh yeah, for Kyle. It takes even less. I mean,
that was for Kyle, but still, it's like when you have him there destroy his mental state of mind so he can't use the powers of the ring. When Batman has a better idea of the Green Lantern powers than you do.
The thing that got me on this is they just go back up and start having more sex in the book, and you just slowly see the pieces of Guy thawing out on the floor.
Yeah.
And then, like, at the end of the book, he goes and meets up with the person who poisoned him. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, what's happening here now?
Hey, he's only got so many days to live. He might as well just ride it out.
Well, he's riding something. I'm wondering if he's going I mean, it's the JLI. I mean, they operate in a large pair of twos. So, I mean, you got Booster and Beetle. You got Fire and Ice. You got Barda and whatchamacallit. So, I mean, he's riding out. I mean, it just depends on which pair.
I didn't get a rim shot soundbite. I didn't get a rim shot soundbite. That so was a rim shot moment.
That's not my fault to set it up. So
depending on which pair.
Yeah, or like you had to walk. You opened you unlocked the door. You allowed him to walk in. What do you expect?
You invited me in on that one.
Not a rim shot sound effect for that now.
So this is done written by Tom King, art and colors by Greg Smallwood. This is as close to a perfect comic as you'll get. Like the whole Human Target series, this is perfect of a comic as you will get. Probably the best issue being issue 5.
Mm-hmm. Although issue 5 was kind of my favorite though.
I
would say issue 5 was probably more my favorite than this one was. But this was still a good read to me.
Moving on over to Marvel, we have the X-Men Devil's Reign tie-in. Mm-hmm. This is written by Jerry Dugan with art and colors by Phil Noto, meaning I automatically like this book.
I dig
Phil Noto as an artist. Mm-hmm. The long and short on this one, Emma gets arrested by the British government. Emma walks scot-free from the British government. We meet the little girl that Emma had saved in the 80s, now an adult. She asks where she wants to go to keep her safe from Kingpin. And she goes, Krakoa. They immediately get to Krakoa. The little girl is like, nah, take me to the city. We learned that the girl was trained by Elektra, and we learned that Wilson is now on Emma's bad side and needs to watch his back around pretty much everybody in his life at all times because he crossed Emma Frost.
Yep.
I like this cover.
I feel bad for you. I feel bad for Union Jack. Union Jack did not deserve
Union
that.
Jack
He did not deserve that. He did not deserve all that to happen to him. He was just doing his job.
My favorite part is where she was talking to the police dogs. Like, do you guys want to come? I mean, this is not a euphemism, but I do have a farm you guys can live on. And she's like, yes, I agree, and it's perfectly respectable if you want to go and continue and bite more bad guys.
Oh,
you are welcome to do so.
That was
also bear mace fight.
It was just funny when you just sit there and just see, okay, which one of you guys do not wear your psionic dampeners? Oh, the one that's pretty much macing everybody right now. It's like, Jesus.
They had a bear mace fight, kind of like a gasoline fight from Highlander.
And eyes red and everything, and the whole time she just smooth walking out. She's like, and thank you for handing me the cuffs to this. Now handcuff yourselves and have fun. Okay, now go to sleep. I was like, as Union Jack sitting there the whole time, just like, I'm trying to be a gentleman. I am not trying to rough you up. It's like, when you're trying to be a gentleman, but Frost does not care. Oh, that was funny.
Not Emma.
Oh, Emma didn't care, but she does love animals. Peter does love that kind of stuff.
I do. This just cements why I love Emma Frost the most out of most of the X-Men. My favorite still was last issue where she like looks into Spider-Man's mind and then gives him a kiss and thanks him for all that he does.
Thank you. You were just a boy. You're just a boy. Thank you for everything. Spider-Man looks so freaking confused. He looks so confused.
Pete just can't catch a break. It's like,
what was the other thing? Oh yeah, she has to deal with her lawyers for all the money she got taken out in Sue Storm's name, and she's just like, well, it's very simple what we do. Just buy the stock to where we can control them, and then we drop the charges.
That was, you know what, for her to be an anti-hero, she did have some pretty cool points in this role so far.
And that's why she's on the council.
And that's why she's against Xavier, because they screwed her over big.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
If you have anything going on, you immediately, and Emma Frost has any involvement, you immediately get her in on the ground floor.
Yeah.
You do not keep anything from this woman. She will find out, and it will never go good for you.
It never does.
Ask every law enforcement that tries to take her. Every matter of fact, every time they've tried to take her in, it's like no one does an equipment check. It's like it's almost like a bad Benny Hinn joke. Like, you'll find that one person that was being lazy and didn't bring the one thing that would protect them.
Oh, we'll be okay today. We haven't been involved with anything like that before. I mean, that's the day that you need it.
It's one of those like, oh, we're bringing in Emma Frost. Isn't her mutant power she can turn into diamonds? Well, that's one of them. Yes.
Oh, I did love how she treated old girl at the end, because Kingpin was like, "You are not her. You're controlling her." He's like, what's he? He kept on saying, "What are you?" It's like, "What's to keep you from slitting my throat right now?" I'm like, that's a dang good question. I'm like, you that freaking close. And then it kind of pans out. She's sitting there the whole time. I'm a lot closer than you think. That's insult to injury right there. When you're literally got your back turned and yet you got control over his would-be wife, and she has a knife to your neck, and she's saying, "Oh, this would just be good and terrible if she killed you and not me." I was like, that's some cold-blooded mess.
I mean,
and that's Emma for you.
I mean, he's married to Typhoid Mary. She can very well just switch one of Mary's other personas on in her head,
Oh
and
yeah,
it'll all go sideways.
especially if she switches to Typhoid. That's the
Oh god,
one where
that's the
one where
nightmare. That's the nightmare.
nobody's gonna be standing after that. But no, I mean I dig it. It was a really good issue.
I think the only knock I really have against this one is that there's not a whole lot of Elektra in this book, and this was kind of like tied into Emma and Elektra teaming up.
But maybe the next
such a
issue will actually catch up with Elektra though.
No, I think this is it for this.
Oh, that's it?
I think so, because Double Reigns ends next issue.
Oh, ain't that about it? Okay. Dang. See, this is what I hate about getting involved in especially when stories get really good and they have that abrupt stop. This is one of them. Aside
you figure spring and summer. Well, yeah, because they're going into
spring right now, right?
So yeah, they got a lot of overarch storylines that got to start getting out.
Pretty much.
Well, I mean, issue 6 does start bringing the X-Men in because they're all over the cover of that.
Yeah.
So this will probably tie into the X-Men coming in issue 6.
Gotcha. But still, great. It was a great issue. I still cracked up by how she just sat there. Would you like to go with the kidnapped person, or would you like to go with them? That was actually the previous episode, but it's still funny. I'll go with you. Okay, so you're not getting kidnapped. Cool. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
Our final book is Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This is done by Colin Bunn, art by Freddie Williams II, and colors by Andrew Dollhouse. The long and short of this is Rita gets really tired of losing to the Power Rangers. She's like, we're going to try another universe. Pops into another universe's Angel Grove, and immediately sees Godzilla fighting Megalon. And then all of her minions is like, I don't think we can beat that. So she, which I didn't think they would do this, but she warps into a UFO. They see a UFO over the city. Mm-hmm. And it's the dudes from Destroy All Monsters, the classic version. Oh, and she's like, let me take you to. So, like, she talks to the coordinator of Planet X. And she's like, well, why don't we make a deal? I want to rule Earth. You want to rule Earth. We can use the monsters to rule this planet, and we just split the planet. Meanwhile, as they were transporting to the other dimension, Tommy hitches along in the spell. Mm-hmm. We get to see he summons the Dragon Zord, and the Dragon Zord tries to fight Godzilla.
That was a disrespectful.
Speaking of disrespectful, now we need to preface this. This is the IDW Godzilla, meaning this is the Godzilla that has been in King War, has been in the Monsters Battle, and has been the Godzilla that has survived literally going to hell. So to say he makes very short work of the Dragon Zord is an understatement. Man. Dragon Zord gets maybe 3 moves off Godzilla, and then Godzilla just atomic breaths it. And no, he gets 1 backbreaker and atomic breaths. And that's
it was still disrespectful. It's like, I kind of felt bad reading that. I was like, so you're really going to try it? I was like, I kind of felt bad for the Dragon Zord because, the Dragon Zord didn't really have a say in this matter. Like, I got to fight him?
So the thing that confused me on this is Tommy got warped to another reality. Mm-hmm. How did the Dragon Zord rise out of this dimension's ocean?
Plot armor.
Thank you.
That's not plot armor. That's just convenience.
Plot armor / convenience.
Plot armor would have meant the Dragon Zord would have been just fine and shaken off that.
You know the funny part is that did kind of enter my mind for a second, but doesn't that always come up with the theory that wherever the Rangers are, they can summon the Zords?
I guess, but
things
are just like, wait, how did the Dragon Zord get here? He's not even in the same Angel Grove.
Or actually, could it go since it's different Earths? It could it's not to say that the Zords haven't been there and they're not all connected. I mean, the morphing grid does go across universes and realities, so I guess that does make sense.
So the other Rangers at the end of the book pop in, and immediately summon the Megazord, and that's where it ends, where a showdown between Godzilla and the Megazord.
And
My
again,
favorite things about this, there's like, Rita's like, well, I can just control the monsters by magic, and the controller's like, yeah, the monsters can't really be controlled by any means, especially Godzilla. Rita's like, oh, well then. Honestly, I want to see, like, I don't know. There are so many ways you can interpret this, because I could see, like, Gigan or something being summoned by Rita as a space monster,
yeah,
or having Goldar team up with King Caesar.
I can see that too. But I was like, you tried to control Godzilla. You literally tried her hardest using magic to control Godzilla, and it did not. And Godzilla brushed that off. That's the messed up part. That's like, how is it that Rita gains another increase in power, and Godzilla brushes it off like a bug bite? That's bad.
Oh, I'm waiting for them to use the power sword and go for the ultimate slash, and Godzilla's like, what the hell?
Godzilla's gonna look at that and just atomic breath him, and that's just gonna be just like I said, it's gonna be it's gonna be Godzilla 2-0 versus the Power Rangers. They're just gonna be disrespected.
Right.
The ultimate disrespect.
I also just realized we could see a team up between Jet Jaguar and the Megazord.
Yeah. See,
Where the Megazord and Jet Jaguar fuse into one thing.
I can see Shadow just gushing over that. Just see if that would happen.
Oh,
I want to see that now.
Oh man.
Maybe looking forward to this. I will say though,
mm-hmm.
pardon me, is that the art is a little wonky for the Rangers. Like all the Rangers look like they are like complete and utter bodybuilders in this.
You're not lying. Yeah, like the Red Ranger didn't skip leg day.
No.
He did not skip leg. I'm like, it's amazing because the Green Ranger looks like it's like the Green Ranger looks like he just completely destroyed himself to be a power lifter. The Red Ranger looks like
he can hold his breath for 20 minutes without much big of lungs.
Right. I'm just saying, I mean, I get it from a comic version. I'm like, you would think they would draw them to be a little more aesthetic, but I guess you're trying to show off that, you know, the powers changed them, I guess. That was the problem. That was actually the problem with the Power Ranger reboot movie not too long ago. The way they made them look just didn't look right. So one of the many problems. But yeah, I guess it's the way it's by the artist's interpretation of it. I mean, it's not bad, but you know, every time I look at the Red Ranger now, I'm like, yeah, I guess you are a Tyrannosaurus because your arms are small and your legs are huge.
So my guess is this is the Godzilla artist that maybe he's been on the book. I'm not too sure. I don't read Godzilla, but I would say the art favors the Godzilla creatures more than it does the Power Rangers characters. So I'm wondering if this is a existing Godzilla artist from a previous IDW title.
Possibly.
That would fit. But yeah,
you're not wrong. I just can't stop looking at the Red Ranger now. It's like just nothing but legs. Like,
I mean, look, my biggest issue with the Power Rangers reboot movie is that they went with Krispy Kreme over Dunkin' Donuts. If I was going to hide an all-powerful MacGuffin crystal, it would have been under a Dunkin' Donuts, not a Krispy Kreme.
I thought you was going to say. I thought you was going to say Goldar. I literally thought you was going to say Goldar.
That hurt.
And for the record, if you watch one of our older episodes, we actually talk about Wonder Woman 84 and how that suit reminds us of Goldar from the Power Rangers. I got about a week back. That'll take you back.
I mean, the Golden Eagle armor is something that's always existed in the Wonder Woman comics.
But it does kind of remind you of Goldar when you look at it, though. I can't get that out of my head now.
No,
you can thank my co-host DC for that one. He brought that to our attention. I'm like, you are so right, and I hate you for it.
We had a whole litany of problems before that Golden Eagle armor even made.
That's true.
That is very true. But nothing like all leg Red Ranger right now.
I do want to bring up a comic. We're not discussing it long form, but Will, you will like this. The new issue of Beast Wars came out.
Yes.
The Vox are dumping new Transformers into the Beast Wars from the anime series.
I'm intrigued.
So the Vox dumped in on the Predacon side Sky Saber
Okay.
I don't remember who he was, but they dropped in on the Maximal side Polar Slash. The polar bear Maximal from one of the animated series.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Vox are like actually putting out Transformers to rein in the Maximals and the Decepticon and the Predacons.
Interesting.
And this was their interpretation of, you remember the Optimus Rage episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, this was their variation on it.
Ooh. Okay.
So the Vox was like, yeah, we can't put you guys down through peaceful means. We can't get you, try to convince you. Yeah, here are two Transformers from our that we've put before you.
I have to look. I have to go find that. I'm gonna have to go find that later because yeah, Beast Wars is definitely one of my favorite Transformer series. Although I am looking forward to Rise of the Beast whenever we get a release date on that because it's not Michael Bay related and I can live with that. But Joe, is that all the comics? That's all you got, man?
Yeah, that's all we got. I mean, I could go on about some other things, but we could say that for straight out the box.
Yeah, which also I hopefully will be on there this Sunday because my son is going with his folks to Milwaukee, which means I am free. Well, I'll find a way to be free. But that being said, thank you, Joe, for those comics. As we usually say, guys, shout out to Rick's Comic City here in Nashville. If you are in Nashville, Middle Tennessee area, please check out Rick's Comic Book City, voted #1 comic book store in Nashville. So if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, please check them out. The 3 locations: Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Donaldson, for all the comic book needs. As Joe has politely said, he has spent a lot of money over there already.
I mean, for every 2 weeks, it's not too bad.
I mean, look, I spent $300 on games for this podcast. Sorry, trust me, you're not that bad. But if you're not able to get to a comic book store, again, go definitely hit up your local library because guess what? Libraries still carry the most up-to-date comics and manga and anime and video. And even in 2022, library cards still cost $1. So with the library card, you can go out and check out your media and read to your heart's content. So if you're not able to go to a comic book store, please check out a library, as you will be able to go to these places as long as they're still around, because they do carry quite a lot of books, not just comics, but detective fiction as well. And like I said, read. We need more of it. So as we're kind of winding down, guys, Chris, anything that you would like to share? Of course, we do thank you for being on here, and hopefully we'll have you back. Hopefully we'll definitely have you back here next Friday for the Backcast, which let me explain that very quickly. So if for all those who are wondering, yes, we are doing the Backcast. What it means by that is that our podcast next Friday will be a full spoiler review of the Batman. We did wait a while, mainly for everybody to get a fair chance to digest it, to see if you liked it, to see if you hated it. If you're like me, you're constantly apologizing because Robert Pattinson knocked it out to me, and I have to publicly apologize. But Joe, myself, Ari and Guy from Geek Salad, and Chris we'll all be back here next Friday, 8 p.m. to discuss it in full spoiler territory. So hopefully you guys will join us here. Same Git Bit podcast time and channel. But Chris, let me try this again. Chris, first and foremost, definitely thank you, man, for being on the show. So
appreciate it, man.
You'd like to plug or let the people know what you're doing?
You can check me out and the crew, Blurred's Eye View, on IG and Linktree. The Linktree should be right there. There it is. You can check me out there. All the links are there, but you can also go to IG on Instagram, and for those who do not know, and go to Blurred's Eye View. Also, you can check me out on Chris.Fury1 on IG. That's not up there. Don't worry about it. You can also check us out on Facebook. You can go check us out on check us out on Facebook. We are live we are taking the week off, so you'll probably see a replay from us next week for Tuesday and Thursdays, because we are air every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch live. And we do giveaways, we do shout outs, we do the whole nine. We talk blurred, nerd, geek, and weeb, and everything in between. And as we interview POCs and other people, our next guest actually is a middle school teacher out of Texas by the name of he goes by Lutz Universe, I believe. Big Power Rangers fan. So he's going to be coming on. As I like to say, the borders of Wakanda are open. We are open for everybody to come in and show their craft, share their craft, show their love for what we all know and love, and that is geek. So thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. We definitely Definitely do love having people on, like I said before, of like-minded. Just like you do a Blurred's Eye View, Get Bit is also a open spot. We welcome those. If you have a fandom, then this spot is definitely for you. Except for those who like Zack Snyder, but we keep that to ourselves. But Joe, you want people to know what you're going to be up to doing as far as your gaming schedule and things of that nature, sir?
Let me think. I don't know why you do this to me every time.
Because I don't remember half the schedule. That's why
We're zoomed on me. Great. No, on Twitch TV /Joetime or /Joetime last name. Monday nights or whenever I just feel like streaming, but mostly Monday nights. We're doing Horizon Zero Dawn. Every now and then on Total Justice Gaming. Maybe I'll do a deck video. Maybe I'll do a video game thing. God only knows what I'm doing with that channel. I just know like every 2 weeks I'll lose a subscriber, then gain 2, then lose 3. It's a weird back and forth. From there, I may be doing Relayer next week when I get paid. April, I will become very poor for family reasons. I have multiple birthdays I got to deal with. So we got to roll with that the best we can. Instagram is National Scarlet Spider, National Green Lantern. I am not doing much with either of those at the moment. Mostly because I'm still staying out of con season until the summer. Because work's a thing, and I work, and I keep hearing about the new variant coming in. So,
another
waiting to see when that happens.
Another Decepticon. Lovely. Okay, well, thank you for that, Joe. Because again, I keep remembering Joe does a lot more streaming than I do. I say I'm going to stream, but with everything going on, he is a more consistent streamer than I am. Plus his commentary, especially on on Shield Maiden and his pals, that was still funny to me. But the commentary on that was funny.
You mean Shield Mom and Friends?
Shield Mom and Friends, that was still funny. But
now remember, Shield Mom in Space.
Oh, that's right. You did go Shield Mom in space because now you're in space. But that's good. That's good.
Skills of her eyes, Chris. I just picked like the one shield, the shield guards, like she's like a mom, and then just the joke actually carried on in game.
It just kept going. But as for yours truly, guys, of course, my IG handle is BlackFox447. You can definitely find me there, as I usually post a lot of things and reviews for games, video games, television, movies, and books and comics. And also, I do post gym stuff because I do a couple push-ups. Also, at the same time, I am all about this year being very positive. We've had a couple of very, very rough years, and I do believe in 2022 that we all can be positive. We can all be forthcoming. We can all, help each other out, because that's really what it is as far as getting us through 2022. Not because of the pandemic and it's multi-Decepticons, but just being nice to each other and just being cool and just encouraging. That's all we're trying to do. And also, you can also see there, that's my link to the group. If you click on the link, copy and paste that link into your browser, we'll take you to my link tree that has the YouTube and Facebook groups for all of my podcasts. How the Frack We Got Here, Get Bit, and of course, Supplements Podcast. So you can definitely like, share, and subscribe to all of those as well. Like I said before, it's all about, trying to just make this a productive, positive, safe space. And at the same time, really, above all else, just enjoying stuff. As you can see here, we're enjoying fandoms. And hopefully next Friday, we will have a definitely 5-person panel. Well, yeah, 5. I was going to say, did I say 5 or say 6? I can't count right now. Let's just say enough people. There's enough people that's going to be doing this. So we're just going to leave it at that. And like I said before, as we're wrapping this up, guys, any last words that you guys want to put out there to the universe, or just let people know, or, are we all good? It's all good moment.
I think, what I'll just reiterate it. Check us out every Tuesday, Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Blurred's Eye View, Instagram. Monday, I do Motivational Mondays on TikTok. Chris Fury 1, check me out. Also, I'll be doing comic book character breakdowns as well as comic book event breakdowns pretty soon.
I need the music. I need the music that lives rent free in your head again.
Oh yeah, that's series. That series is still going on. I just haven't filmed anymore. I think I'm on episode 22.
I'm doing
I'm
I
doing
can't
cartoon
tell.
theme songs that live written free in your head, so I'm dropping all kind of cartoons. That
That has become my obsession when I see that. I'm like, what did you find? Because there was a couple that you found that I was like, I remember that. And then I go on Netflix I go on YouTube trying to find previous episodes. But anyway, with that being said, guys,
I live for the nostalgia. That's all. I live for the nostalgia.
I'm with you on that. But again, thank you, Chris, for being on the show, guys. The last thing I'll say about Get Bit, guys, like I said before, be kind, be nice. You know, we're all human. It takes zero energy to be nice. It takes everything to be a dick. So again, just be nice, be kind. You don't know if anybody out there shares a fandom, but you won't know unless you talk. And if you talk and be friendly, guess what? You might find out that you might have more in common with the average person. So again, share fandoms. I honestly think the way to world peace is through anime. That's just me. Not Attack on Titan, because that gives people way too many ideas and
it gets people stretched.
Yeah, it's like definitely not Attack on Titan. More like Dragon Ball. Everybody can get behind Goku because of plot armor. But that being said, guys, that's gonna do it for this. So thank everybody that watched, that liked, that let people know, that shared, because I do see a lot of people did share this. So I don't know if that's good or bad, but I'm hoping it's good. Aside from that, this will actually be live for playback. So go ahead and comment. We want to know everything that you talked about, that you thought that we had an opinion about, whether you liked or disliked. It's not about trying to prove who's right or wrong. It's just simply about having good, fun discussions, unless you're a Zack Snyder fan. With that being said, that's been Chris. That's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Git Bit Podcast, guys, for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We are out. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will all get through this. Peace. And we're out. Thank you, Chris, for being on.